having your name said. Thank you, Dan. You are the man. All right, nobody criticizes Dan. Dan gets his name in everything going forward. Until he forgets to remind me or I don't see it, and then that gets retracted. But for right now, he is in my good graces. And yeah. I need to pull up the spreadsheet with all the questions in it. I forgot to do that. And then we're gonna start the stream. Good job, Dan. No one is perma-gone when they die in the skits. Keep up. That's true. People have died so many times in the skits and they keep coming back. I'm gonna explain how the boss works. I'll explain how the boss works at the beginning of the stream. I'll get to that. Where is my thingy? Okay, there we go. Oh dear. Could I get one of my moderators to do me a huge favor? In the May 7th tab of the spreadsheet, there are a bunch of blue questions that we did not get to. Could you, holy crap, there's a lot of those. Could you copy paste those into the May 11th spreadsheet at the very top so that I have those if I need them? I'll prioritize today's questions, obviously, but sometimes those ones I didn't get to are really good. I like to hit them because they're good. It's good information to share with folks. So if you could do that, I would be deeply appreciative. Sorry for sprigging this on you. Thank you, Penguin Butt. You're awesome. No, put them in. Okay, Dan, you're fired. Penguin Butt's got this. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Jeez. Okay, let's start the stream. Let's get to work. Let's do this. Here we go. Eric from Phoenix, hello. Dan's name will never be left out again unless if Luke forgets or something. What did Generous Heel say? Oh yeah, unless Luke forgets. Oh yeah, I don't forget anything. I never. Zadia, hello. I never forget anything, I swear. It never happens. Identity crisis. Holy crap. Hello. Josh, what up, dude? Dude, Josh, what up? Good to see you, buddy. Little guy. Oh my gosh, I have 4 cats. Look at them. They're all piled at the bottom here. Oh man, they're just like. Oh my goodness. He just growls. He's like. Okay, let's do this. What are we doing tonight? Okay, so tonight is Q&A. You guys ask questions, I'll give you answers. It'll be fun, I promise. And if it isn't, then we don't have to be here. I do though. I do. Anyway, tonight Q&A, and I have some stuff to plug. Let's plug some wonderful stuff here. The first thing that we're gonna plug is Stack Up. This right here is a 501c3 military charity that I am trying to, my goal for the month of May is to raise $5,000 for these guys. They do amazing things for our military. They support active and veteran service members. They promote positive mental health, and they do stuff around suicide prevention. They've got a lot of awesome things they do to support our folks in the military. So I would be deeply appreciative, as would they, for anybody who would like to donate a little something to them. There is a link down below in the chat and around places where you can donate to that. So yeah, trying to get these folks some money for this month. And next obligatory plug is for Layer Magazine. This is a D&D 5th edition, basically, but I can't call it that. It's an RPG. It is an RPG magazine published every month that is compatible with 5th edition. It contains a whole bunch of Dungeon Master resources. It has 2 complete adventures in it every single month with maps designed for use on virtual tabletop. It has things like magic items, magic item curses, encounters, random tables, villains, puzzles, whole bunch of monsters. There's some stat blocks right there for you. Tons of different stuff in there for Dungeon Masters. My patrons get this every single month, delivered to their somewhere where they can get it. It's a post on my Patreon page. I'm dumb. So if you want to get some of this stuff to help you reduce your prep time and improve your games, then there is a link right there where you guys can grab that. Yeah, it's really cool. says the guy who made it, whom helps make it. Of course I'm gonna say that. All right, is that all the? Whoa, that's the wrong button. Is that all the stuff I have to plug? I think that's it. I think that's about it. It's all my shameless plugs mostly. All right, next order of business. you guys can see right here. On, there we go. There we go. There's a hit point bar. Oh, I'm supposed to read the sponsors list. Oh my gosh, you're totally right. I totally forgot. Thank you, Nick. I have to go back and do that. I think I forgot last stream too. I'm gonna go back and do that in a second. Look at that. You see Oyster 2000? He just subbed. He just dealt damage to the hit point bar. Here's the way this hit point bar works. All right, it has a bunch of hit points. Every time somebody subs, cheers, or gives a tip, they will do damage to the hit point bar. That hit point bar is me, basically. If you kill me by the end of the stream today, then we're going to have a giveaway. I'm going to be giving away an issue of Layer magazine. But if you are already a patron, then you don't really need another issue of Layer magazine because you kind of are already a patron. If you are a patron, then I will be giving you a D&D book. So if you're already a patron and you win the giveaway, you'll get a D&D book of your choice. I will get on Amazon and send it to you. So now if you're like out of the US and stuff and a patron, then we're gonna have to figure something out because I can't ship overseas. It's crazy. So we'll figure something out. But that's the way the giveaway works. You got to kill me by the end of the stream today, and if you kill me and we do the giveaway, it is open to everyone who is present at the end of the stream. You got to be here at the end of the stream to get on the giveaway, but you don't have to purchase anything. You do not have to tip, sub, cheer, nothing. If you kill me, and whoever is here at the end of the stream is going to be eligible to get the giveaway. Okay, that's the way that works. So we're gonna be doing that right there. People are already killing me. I'm already starting to get my hit point bar knocked down, which is disconcerting. There was something else I was gonna mention about that too. You have to kill me. So for folks who are cheering and subbing, I want to be very clear that if you tip, the tips do more damage than the cheers and subs. So there was a link to my tipping page when they did the boss. It had a link to a page where you can go tip. The tips do more damage, twice as much damage. And the reason is simply that when you cheer and sub, half of that money goes to Twitch. And so it doesn't count as much toward killing me. But when you tip, like Zachary did right there, bingo, when you tip, it does twice as much damage to the boss. So it doesn't really matter. It's the same amount of money to you, right? Either way, whether it's a cheer, a sub, or a tip. But if you want to do more damage, I recommend tipping. Anyway, there you go. That's how that works. Boss right there. You got to kill me. So that's the new game we have. And somebody's gonna win stuff at the end of the stream if you kill me. So everybody wins. All right. Now we have to do our. Where is this thing? My shout outs. There we go. Okay, cool. So I almost forgot. I want to thank all of the awesome patrons that are so generous and help support all of the stuff that I do for the D&D community. I publish tons of free stuff over my website, thedmlayer.com. I have, oops, that's the wrong one. Where's the number 2? Oh, it's rotating. I do these live streams where I answer people's questions. I do the YouTube videos. I do tons of stuff that's totally free. Takes up lots of my time. And these folks right here help me be able to do that on an ongoing basis. So I'm very, very appreciative of my patrons. And my patrons all get Layer magazine every month. So they get extra bonus stuff too for being my patrons. These dudes right here are given a higher level, so they get their names read off every stream. So here we go. 5e Magic Shop, Amanda W, Arutha, Beoban, Brad A, Brian C, Brand S, Candy Sora, Chad B, Chase O, Chris E, Chris H, Chris R, Chris Y, Cody B, Contrary Gravy, a very merry on birthday, Heretic, Dean S, Dresna, Edward L, Ed R, Endorian 72, Fallon Goliath Cleric, Hydra Slayer, Ian R, Izzy T, Jacob S, Jake L, James L, Jeremy W, Joshin B, Joel L, Josh G, Joshua G, Joseph H, Josh, Josue S, Cal S, Karen C, Ken S, Kesidis, Kirby, Crafty Matt, Kyle M, Kiriako, Leopold X92, Lodwick B, Lord 𝐑𝐄𝐒, Lori S, Mad Quad, Matthew K, Maelstrom, Michael C. Michael H. Mumbles, Milo V. Owen D. Paul B. Paul R. Paul Y. Penguin Butt, published author Race W. Rachel S. Ramsey M. Richard M. Robert W. Rob M. Rock and Roll Joe. Ron H. Ryan G. Sakura Scott S. Simon Snapbragger. Sophie M. Son of a Sofa Man. Stetson H. Stephen F. Tattoo Tokens, The Old DM, The Pickle, Theta Tag, Tim Black, Tony M. Tooth and Nail Rules, Tyler N. Tyler R. Xavier H. Whew. Nice. All right, let's get back over here. All right. Okay, let's do this. Joe, thank you so much for the tier 1 gift to Josh. Appreciate that. Oyster, thank you for the tier 1, dude. Looks like we've had a Twitch baby. You've had a Twitch baby. What does that mean? Oh, 9 months. Oh, you've been a sub for 9 months. Yes, that's true. Autumn Writer, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate that. Mr. Gorks gifted 2 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate that. The Real Hefe cheered 100 bits. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. C. Zachary tipped $5. Thank you. Appreciate that. Nereus gifted 2 tier 1 subs. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Chessology, $25 tip. Oh, you the man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. My cats will appreciate that when they get their kitty treats. Andy Savin, thank you for the prime. Appreciate that. Mr. Gorks, $10. Thank you, sir. Woo. Wearing 300 bits. Thank you. Oyster 2000, 500 bits. Thank you. Appreciate that. Holy crap. I'm almost at half health. I'm almost at half health. Holy crap. I'm like, what is that? That's probably like 2/3. It's probably like 2/3. You guys are going to kill me. Holy crap. I mean, the kitties directly benefit from tips. They're already spoiled. They get expensive medicine, or not medicine, expensive cat food. All right, let's get into, before we do the Q&A, what's your AC, Luke? My AC is, I don't know, not very high, apparently. I'm pretty easy to hit. Before we get into the Q&A, I just wanted to share a bit of news with you that I thought was entertaining. There's going to be a D&D movie. I'm just learning about this. There is a D&D movie. I don't really know anything about it. But I can tell you that filming has begun. It lists producers and stuff. I don't know who they are. But the most important thing I think that you all need to recognize, to know about this movie, is that they have cast Hugh Grant as the villain. Okay, he's gonna be the villain in the movie. And I haven't seen a whole lot of Hugh Grant movies, I'll be honest with you. But the ones that I have seen are just romantic comedies. And I cannot see him as a bad guy. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm a moron. But I couldn't help. And then I'm reading the comments here. And interesting choice for a villain, not as usual type. Oh, gods, no. Somebody is saying that he did some villains in some movies right here, but I've never seen any of these movies. So I don't know how it was. And this guy's like, unless maybe he plays that typical blinking, stuttering moron he played in, about Everything Before Bridget Jones. And then there was somebody else. This project is looking worse and worse with each announcement. Of course, it could be amazing, but I don't know about you. I don't know about you lot, but when I think compelling villain, Hugh Grant is right up there. Are they exploring a public toilet? Sometimes the comment section is the best part of these sorts of things. And then you have Lando saying this deal is getting worse all the time. Okay, so here this one's perfect. Check this out. This was the best one. Villain, I'm sorry, eye blink. I'm so sorry. Rapid eye blinking. Disintegrate. That was the best one. Oh, okay, I'm done. I had to share that. I thought that was hilarious. And then the comments. Chris Pine is usually average to good, so that might be something to look forward to. Who's Chris Pine? Is he an actor or something? Was he cast in this movie? Zadia? Can you clarify on that? I know nothing about this. This what I just read to you is all I know about this movie. He's the main character? Oh, he was cast as the main character? Okay, so he's not too bad. Captain America. Okay, so I don't know how he is as an actor. The Captain America person in those movies did not appeal to me a whole lot, but that's not a comment on him as an actor. It's just that person he was playing was not very appealing to me. Not Captain America. Oh, not Captain America? Captain Kirk. Oh, Captain Kirk. Oh, no way. He was Captain Kirk on the rebooted Star Trek that they just did, like the 2 or 3 series one. Oh, that was great. Oh, dude, I liked that guy. I thought that guy was amazing. That guy did an amazing job doing Captain Kirk, in my opinion. Just actually the entire casting for the most recent Star Trek that they did, those 3 that they did, was amazing. I was mind blown by the mannerisms and everything. It was so well done. Now, I'm not like, I didn't watch a whole lot of the old school Star Trek, the original ones. I've watched enough though to see all of the little stuff, so it was really good. So anyway, that's actually exciting. That's actually pretty good. I haven't watched any of the Wonder Woman movies. I've seen them on I've seen like the little thumbnails on HBO Max or whatever, but I was like, I'm not gonna click that. Wow. Hey, KNV. I don't know how to pronounce that. What up, dude? Happy to hear you like the videos, man. Yes, I streamed. I am a streamer. I stream twice a week. I'm a streamer person. Not really though. Okay. Q&A. Let's do Q&A. Wee. Holy macro. For the questions coming in today, if we can mark those in blue, the ones that should get prioritized, I would appreciate that. What would you recommend a DM look for in a pre-made module for a one-shot in order to get their DM feet wet in 5th edition? Well, you don't need a whole module to do a one-shot. If you're just doing a one-shot game, you just need one adventure. To get your feet wet, I would probably look for an adventure that has a variety of game elements. I would want an adventure that has a good mix of social interactions, exploration, and combat. I'd want there to be maybe a puzzle in there. I'd want there to be some sort of diplomacy thing in there. I'd want there to be a trap that they can find and disarm. I'd want there to be hidden passages and stuff for the players to be able to find. I would want there to be a large social, like I already said, that diplomacy, social interaction thing, and I want there to be a good amount of combat too. And then I'd want there to be a boss guy at the end. I want it to be. I would want a one shot that I'm running, that a new DM is running for maybe players also they're playing for the first time or whatever. I would want an adventure, a one shot that is an equal balance, has lots of different game elements. The first time that I dungeon mastered 5th edition for adults, that's exactly what I did. I designed an adventure that had a variety of game elements in it, and I ran it for my group. And my purpose was primarily as a dungeon master to see what my players, the new players, I'd never played with them before, to see what they liked. And then I could continue to kind of give them similar stuff, you know? So that'd be my recommendation for that. Oyster, thank you for the tier 1 sub gift. Appreciate that. Leopold, thank you for the $10, man. I appreciate that, dude. I'm almost at half health. Oh, wait a second. Oh, we hit a level 3 hype train. Whee! Look at that. That. Mommy wants attention. Look at this. I have to pet her. I can't even use my mouse hand anymore. I can't click anything. I have a DM question that has caused a bit of in and out of game debate. Does taking the help action in combat remove invisibility? Depends on what you're doing. Oh, help action. Absolutely. Absolutely removes invisibility. I would absolutely rule that it removes invisibility. What is the help action? You are helping somebody else attack an enemy. Like, how are you gonna... So let's just think about this. How do you help someone attack an enemy? You have to be distracting the enemy, assisting that person in some way so that they can get advantage on the attack roll. You are in essence participating in the attack. In my opinion, you might as well be attacking yourself. You're giving that person an advantage. So I would absolutely 100% rule that using the help action in combat to give someone advantage on their attack roll definitely breaks your invisibility. Now, if you're giving them a help action to do something different that doesn't involve combat, doesn't involve attacking, I think according to invisibility, there are two things that remove invisibility. Attacking or casting a spell. I think those are the two things. So if you're helping somebody do a skill check, for instance, jump high or something, if that's your help action, then you're just giving them advantage to do that, then I wouldn't think that would remove invincibility. But anything that you're helping someone to do that's related to attacking somebody, causing damage, pushing somebody, anything that's like combat related or casting a spell, invisibility gone. Absolutely. Those are the only two things, yeah. So there would be a little bit of DM discretion in that ruling depending upon what you're helping someone do. But if it has to do with attacking someone or hurting someone or something, casting a spell, it absolutely 100% makes you lose the invisibility. Yeah. I'm almost out of coffee, you guys. I just began. Do you ever get burned out on fantasy RPGs? After 25 years, it's wearing on me. You mean like tabletop RPGs, fantasy RPGs? I haven't yet. But I do like variety. I love playing Call of Cthulhu at conventions and trying new things at conventions. And I play video games that some of my video games don't really have a whole lot to do with fantasy. Right now, I started playing not a whole lot because I don't have a lot of time. But when I have time, I started playing the not Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online. I started playing Elder Scrolls Online, just, you know, and I kind of like it. It feels like Elder Scrolls that I'm used to, the single player game like Skyrim, Morrowind and stuff like that. It feels like that, but it also feels like an MMO, and I like MMOs. And it's not like World of Warcraft, which is just dumb, and you're just like, oh, go gather ingredients and collect things. Okay, that's, yeah. But it's like actual real things to do in quests and dungeons. So it feels like the Elder Scrolls I'm used to, but it has MMO components. But I'm not very far in the game yet. But I thought so far I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty cool. So I didn't really answer your question, did it? Yeah, that's the thing. MMOs are time sinks. I don't have a lot of time. So I just play it. Like, I probably play it once a week or something for like maybe an hour or two. I don't really have a lot of time. Why? Who's whining? Little guy's whining at me. There we go. Hey, $100 donation to Stack Up. Thank you so much. Some anonymous folk. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Little guy's complaining down here. I have no coffee left. Cook hard. You can tip by Penguin Butt. Can you put the boss? There you go. Thank you. There's a link right there where you can tip. It accepts PayPal, credit cards, lots of different stuff. You can do whatever you want. Besides, like, mail me cash or something. Do people use cash anymore? I keep some of my wallet just in case, but usually the same bills are in there for like months and never get touched. How much, in your opinion, is a healthy amount of DMing if it isn't your job? That is going to vary, like, by each person. That's going to vary so widely. You really can't put anything on there. There was a guy, I played a one shot with a guy a couple weeks ago, and he's a dungeon master. He has 11 games a week. Now, it's also his job. He gets paid for it and stuff. But he says he loves it, and he just loves the crap out of it, you know. So it's like, what's healthy? Well, that's what's healthy for you. What's healthy for your mental health? How much is fun for you? And then when does it start to feel like it's not fun and you don't want to do it anymore, and you're just not having fun and you want to quit? It's really a personal thing, you know. I personally, feel like once a week for me is pretty good. Once a week, I get to have some fun. I get to do some DMing and stuff. But once I start to get more than once a week, well, first of all, I wouldn't have time for it right now. But who knows? If I did have time, I might enjoy being a player in a game, right? But I don't know. Would I enjoy being a dungeon master more than once a week? There are weeks that I have I have a youngling group, and then I have my normal weekend groups. And there are some weeks where I have to DM twice, and it takes a toll on me right now. But that's because of my time constraints. If I didn't have all the time constraints, I wonder if I'd be okay with that. I don't know. Joe, thank you for the $5 tip. Appreciate that. As a veteran, I want to say thank you for your choice in charity. Hey, you're very welcome, dude. Yeah, I worked with Stack Up last year too. We did it around like Veterans Month, whatever. Was that September or something? It's something like that. But I did the same thing for them last year too. Raised some money for them. I have like plushies and stuff and t-shirts and swag they sent me. Is really cool. So yeah, I'm always happy to help our veterans and our active service members. All right. Skill challenges. Do you have any philosophies for setting up DCs, especially for long-term goals like crafting items or animal training? I feel like it depends on what you're crafting. If you're crafting mundane items, I feel like, and you have proficiency in doing so, it really shouldn't. If it's a mundane item, it's not some exceptional quality, there probably shouldn't be a very high DC for it. It should almost be, if you put in the time, you make it. It's like if you're a blacksmith and you have to like you have to roll to see if you can make a horseshoe. It's like, dude, come on, you're a blacksmith. You can't make a horseshoe? How badly are you gonna screw up a horseshoe? You know? Now, if you're trying to make some complicated, you know, barding for a horse or something, that's a different level of skill. Maybe that requires something. If we're getting into like magic items and stuff, honestly, I would use the rules in Xanathar's about downtime and crafting and making magic items. I feel like if you're trying to craft something that's complex, there are two costs to it. There's a cost of gold sink, there's a cost of time. Those are the two big costs that I would apply in game. Now, is there a DC for crafting stuff? You could put one there. You could put a DC. I would probably have some sort of range of DCs. Like if every week that you spend trying to craft something that's complex or magical, you might have to make a roll. And if you get like a 10 or below, the cost is doubled for that week. And the time might have to increase. If you get like a 15, well, then the cost maybe is the normal cost of what it would be for that week of crafting. If you get like a 20 or above, maybe your cost is cut in half for that week. You know, not the total cost of the thing you're making. Maybe something like that. That way there's a penalty for rolling low, but it's not a fail state. It's not like you totally failed. But you could just say if you roll low enough, maybe you don't make any progress that week. Maybe that week your progress is stalled and you have to spend more time or something. So I would go with something like that probably for long-term goals like crafting items. Animal training could be the same thing. You know, there are a number of weeks required to do it. You probably got to spend some gold on it as well, because you're going to need materials, treats and stuff like that for motivation and incentive. There might be other training supplies depending upon what kind of animal you're training. And then each week you have to make a skill check. And if you don't get very high, you don't make any progress. If you get really high, maybe you make double progress. So I would definitely use a sort of sliding scale, as opposed that would affect gold spend and the time, as opposed to just having a fail state or a success state. Those, when you're talking about long-term goals like downtime activities and stuff like that, training, crafting things, hard success or hard fails related to a skill check just don't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. So that's how I would do it. I feel like I have something like bothering my nose. I keep like rubbing it. I don't know what's going on here. Cook hard. Hey, what up, dude? Thank you for the $20 tip, man. I appreciate that. My son and I are huge fans. Well, thanks, dude. Cook Hard, are you? There was somebody on Twitter too that like messaged me, and I swear they had cooking involved with their name or something. I don't know if that was you or not, but anyway, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a code. He's been kidnapped. It is you? Oh, okay, cool. What up, dude? Welcome to the stream, man. I'm at half health now. I'm at half health. You guys have almost killed me. Does anybody else see the problem here? Where's Dan? Is Dan still here? Dan? Yeah. Dan. Did Dan warn me that my coffee was getting low? Dan, did you warn me that my coffee was getting low? Come on, Dan. You're in Canada. This should be quick communication here. I'm in Michigan. Let's go. He's making up an excuse. You did make a comment? He did? Okay. All right, guys. Okay. Dan reminded me you've been redeemed, venerated. There's a word. Vindicated. That's the word I'm looking for. There we go. Thank you, Dan. He did, but it was in chat, so you of course didn't see it. Oh, Danny. Can we gotta, all right, Danny has had this like little sassy attitude all day. Man, we're gonna figure something out around here. Dito, what's up, dude? How you doing? Oh, Dito's asking how that health point bar works. All right, so this health point bar right there, basically as people send tips, cheers, or subs, they will reduce my hit points. And when I die, if I die by the end of the stream, then I'm doing a giveaway. I'll either be giving away an issue of Layer magazine, or if you're already a patron and you already get the magazine, then you'll be getting a D&D book. And anybody who is present, if you kill me, anybody who's present at the end of the stream will be entered and can win it. You do not have to spend any money. It's free for, if you kill me, anybody who's at the end of the stream is eligible to win. So that's how that works, Dito. So I'm already half dead. It's not cool. You guys are ruthless. Okay, I'm struggling to understand movement when creatures can both fly and walk. Yeah, it sucks. Can you explain this so I can understand it? Sorry for a lame question, but for some reason I can't get it straight. The big boss right. Okay, so basically, it's stupid. If you have a walk speed of 30 and then a fly speed of 90, let's say, you could walk 25 feet, and that reduces both your walk speed and your fly speed by 25 feet. But if you then at that point walk 25 feet and then start to fly, you have 90 minus 25 feet remaining to fly, which is, I don't know, 55 or something. I don't know what the math is. And you can still fly for 55 feet, okay? However, so basically, does that make sense? However, if you walk 25 feet and then walk 5 more, reducing your walking speed to 0, you can't walk anymore, neither can you fly anymore. So if you have no more walking, if you walk 30 feet, you can't fly either. But if you walk 25 feet, you can then fly for like 55 feet, whatever 90 minus 25 is. So that's my understanding of how that works. And I hope that example helps, but they're wanky rules. Wouldn't combat in one room of a castle or dungeon be loud enough to alert practically every enemy in the structure? Well, here's the thing. Do you want to have ultimate realism in your game, or do you want to play a game? Because let's just pretend that if you have a structure of moderate size, that the sounds of combat, people screaming and yelling and dying, and weapons, my cat's biting me, all the sounds of crazy combat, I agree, it probably could be loud enough, and especially squeaky. Stop it. It It could be loud enough to alert everybody in that complex. And then you'd have all the enemies on the alert. They'd be streaming down on the party, and it would be go time. And they probably all die at that point. So is that realistic? I think that's probably realistic. Do we want ultimate realism in our games? I sure as heck hope not. The ultimately realistic game is going to be so crunchy and have so many rules that probably no one would want to play it. So is it realistic? Yeah. Is it playable? Probably not. So this is a point where you have to decide what is going to be the balance between realism and acknowledging it's a game that has rules and that things work a certain way, even though it doesn't really make sense. And in this case, if you want to have a party, a squad of like elite soldiers be able to go into a dungeon, a castle, fortification, and explore and go room to room and play out the game in the way that Dungeons and Dragons is kind of designed to play, and not only designed to play that way, but there are lots of reasons that the typical dungeon delving of going room to room and corridor to corridor, there are lots of reasons that style of play is very successful and appeals to lots of people. It hits on a lot of different fun game elements: combat, exploration, role-playing, mystery, puzzles, suspense. There's lots of things that style of play hits on and that appeals to lots of people, and people like playing that game. But if you go to the route of one combat and everything swarms on you, and it's like a 3 to 5 hour long combat where you're just trying not to die because everything's attacking you, that game is going to appeal, I'm supposing, to far fewer people. So you are accurate in your assessment. However, for game reasons, I wouldn't recommend doing that for the reasons previously stated. So hope that helps. Moderators, could I get that question in the chat and then put the timestamp of 44 minutes by it, please? I would appreciate that. Thank you. But it's like I forget that there's no coffee. I keep picking the cup up. I'm gonna go over there and get some coffee in a second here. I guarantee you. If you don't get coffee, you'll cry. I'm getting close. No, I'll make Danny cry. Danny might quit if you don't fill it up. Danny's not allowed to quit. The Real Hefe, what up? You're out of coffee too? Dang. Or is that something else? Can mods enter the giveaway when you die? Anybody anybody who is in chat can enter the giveaway. My moderators deserve just as much as anybody else to win something. They do so much amazing work and help out around here so much. There's no stinking way I'm gonna bar them from entering the giveaway. So yes, moderators can enter. You have no greater chance of winning than everybody else, but you can absolutely, if you're here, you can enter. Dan says, can you start doing push-ups again? You said when PodCon 7 could do them, you would. My hand still hurts. It still hurts. Thank you, Dan, for asking. Do you have homebrew rules for creating magic items? It takes 200 days to make a necklace of fireballs. Good. Does it really take that long? Hold on a second. All right, we're going to Xanathar's. Downtime. Crafting an item. 128. Page 128. All right, let's go to... Oh, I gotta turn... Little guy, you don't need to whine at me. This guy, he just wants his belly rubbed. Oops, I just turned my camera off. He just wants his belly rubbed. I gotta turn my exposure down. All right, that's probably acceptably readable. Crafting an item. Crafting magic items. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, time and cost is right here. Work weeks. So if something is what rarity is a fireball? Necklace of fireballs. That's probably like a rare or a very rare. It only takes 25 weeks. So 25 weeks is that's half a year. Yeah, that's about right. Yep, that's like half a year. Oh, that is pretty bad. That's really, really bad. You know what's ironic too? Like, it's exceptionally, exceedingly expensive, and it takes tons of time. However, oh, it's just 10 weeks. That's still 10 times 7. That's still like 70 days. That's like a long time still. I will say though, that there's also, in downtime activities, there's buying a magic item. And buying magic items in Xanathars is it's broken. It is so easy to find the magic item you want to buy. It's only a question of, do you have the money for it? Oh my gosh, my health bar is yellow now. My health bar is yellow. Oh, I'm so close to dying. Good grief. The only question is, do you have enough money for it? So my Ancient Dragon group, my Patreon group that I run D&D for, they have begun doing the buying magic items during their downtime, and they're getting magic items like candy. It's just a question of, do they have the money for it, you know? But it's not hard to find them according to these rules. So the irony to me is that this is so horribly unbalanced. You know, the same people who made buying the magic item rules and then who made the crafting an item rules, it's just like, it takes forever to craft your magic item if you want to craft it, and yet it takes 1 week to find the magic item for sale. And it's probably going to cost you a little bit more to buy it than if you were to craft it. But holy crap, you know? So it's not balanced, you know? It's very easy to find what you want. So unfortunately, you have two things you could do. One, you could tell your players, crafting is stupid, go buy it. And that's not very satisfying. So I would probably, if I had players that actually wanted to start crafting it, I would probably reduce the time for crafting it, because in a D&D game, you usually don't have that much time. The campaign doesn't even last that long. And a lot of times you're not even able to fit in that downtime. I force my players to take a downtime when it's time for them to level up, they get forced to take a downtime. So they basically have 19 downtimes in the game. That's it. That's the entire game. 19 downtimes. Because by the time you get to level 20, the game's over. Campaign's over. So, but that's me forcing them to take downtime every time they level up. Many dungeon masters don't do that, and players can choose to do it or not. But you guys know how D&D games work. The players are like, we don't have time to take a downtime. We can't. We have to go to the next quest. The bad guy's doing this. There's always a sense of urgency. And that is the entire reason why I force them to take downtime in order to level up. Otherwise, they never would. So if I had a player who wanted to craft magic items because of the disparity between the time costs and all of this stuff, I would probably house rule something to make it take less time. Otherwise, you would just never be able to craft anything. So I don't have a house rule for that. However, if I had a player that was going to start crafting, I would definitely create a house rule for it, because it just takes too long. You would never use it in the game. That's my answer. Oh, you don't remember what the question was? Hold on, I can find the question. What was the question? Remember that? Hey, somebody in the chat knows. Somebody asked the question and I answered it, and then I asked my moderators to mark the time in the log. What was the question that I answered? Can somebody tell me what the question was that I answered? Somebody knows it. Somebody in chat's smarter than I am, and they remember. I guarantee you. Danny's like, oh. The castle encounter. Oh, yep, that's right. Thank you. So, Joe, I'm not going to force additional downtime on your guys' group. I'm not going to. Not everybody wants to take additional downtime. That's probably going to have to be something that you guys talk about yourselves. But my rule is to level, you get downtime, but I'm not going to force you to take extra downtime. If the group wants to, you're welcome to, but I won't force you to. So that's just not going to happen. Sorry. But you guys can always decide to take some if you want. But it sucks because you got to convince other players to do it. I understand. Okay. Oh, there it is. Wouldn't a combat. There we go. And it was probably not 40. It was probably more like 40 minutes. Oh, there it is. Oh, there we go. It was probably more like 30, 35 minutes. There we go. Yeah, already it got double logged, so I deleted it. Okay, I'm behind on the cheers and stuff. Oh dear, here we go. Oh my gosh, I'm like red. I'm about to die. You guys have almost killed me, and we're only a third of the way through the stream. Oh wow. You know, okay, you guys, whoever delivers the killing blow to me, I want to tell you, whoever delivers the killing blow, you become the next boss. Literally, your name will be displayed right up here, and you become the next boss if you deliver the killing blow to me. And then people will have to kill you. And if they kill you by the end of the stream, we'll double the giveaway, I guess. So yeah, somebody could become the next boss. Let me get through my thank yous here. Lots of folks are tipping and stuff, and I'm really appreciative of that. Sajia, thank you so much for the Prime. I appreciate that. TK373, thank you for the Prime. Thank you so much. Switcheroo, thank you for the Prime. Oyster 2000, another 500 bits. Thank you, Oyster. You're doing it tonight. Wow, nice. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Eric from Phoenix tipped $25. Oh man, thank you so much, dude. Luke, thanks for all the content and answering all of my questions over this last year. Your content has been a huge help, and my family and I are having a ton of fun. D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, DD&D, Dungeons and Dragons and Donuts. My wife's a good idea. Oh, your wife sounds awesome. She's like, okay, look it. Let me explain how this is gonna go. Okay, we're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons, and we're always gonna have donuts. All right, and we're gonna call it D&D and D, and that's the way it's gonna go. And the husband's like, that sounds like a great idea, honey. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Oh no, I did die. Somebody killed me. Who killed me? 𝐑𝐄𝐒 killed me. Oh man, nice. Okay, well that's it. I guess we gotta. So at the end of the stream, we'll have our giveaway. And if you guys can kill 𝐑𝐄𝐒, then we'll double the giveaway. So it'll be 2 issues of Layer Magazine. We'll have 2 winners. I'm sorry, we'll have an additional winner. So 2 people will win Layer Magazine, and if you're already a patron, then you'll get a D&D book. So, oh gosh, you guys are slaughtering 𝐑𝐄𝐒. Yeah, so Eric, that's really cool. Your wife sounds really good. Giving you donuts. How often do you play D&D? Can you play D&D more often? Get more donuts? My wife is making hummus. My wife is making hummus right now. Oh, I love my wife. She cooks good food. That's not the only reason I love her, just for the record. Omnisar, thank you for the 1,500 bits. Appreciate that. Oyster 2000, 1,060 bits, 5,000 bits, 10,000 bits. Oh, Omnixar did 5. Oh, Omnixar. Holy crap. Omnixar is going nuts. Dude, you're awesome. Omnixar cheered 5,000 bits and then 10,000 bits. Wow. That's so cool. Thank you, dude. And then, oh, then 𝐑𝐄𝐒 14 sealed it with a tier 1 sub gift to Galandrill. Oh, nice. Omnixar, another 1,000 bits. Thank you. Oyster 2000 tipped $25. Awesome. Thank you so much to the best of streamers and D&D YouTubers. Wow, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. You guys are gonna make me cry or something. But I won't. I'll just buckle down on being a jerk. All right, we should do some more. We're gonna do some more questions. Obviously, we have 2 hours. We have 2 hours to go of questions. And I did that one. What I want to do now is I want to get some more coffee, and we're gonna do. Did somebody redeem a cat strike? Did somebody redeem a cat strike already? Because we'll do a cat strike if it's been redeemed. Dito's like, cry. No, Dito. What is your and 𝐑𝐄𝐒's CR? Our challenge rating. Oh, our challenge rating is very high. You're not gonna be able to kill 𝐑𝐑𝐄𝐒. 𝐑𝐑𝐄𝐒, what's your challenge rating? What's your CR, dude? I want to know what your CR is. If somebody redeemed a cat strike, we're gonna do a cat strike too. Manage reward requests. 1/16. Yes, we have a cat strike. It was the pickle. Thank you, pickle. Ooh, our community challenge is 75% complete. Nice. Check that out. Okay, we are doing the cat strike courtesy of pickle. Thank you, pickle. You are awesome. Look at these. I got cats just running. I heard 2 cats just come down the stairs. Let's go to the cat cam. 2 cats just, oh, squeaky. You guys, it's like a pack of sharks. They're just swarming. All right. Let's go. All right, calm down. I got a lot of cats here. I gotta make sure I give them a sufficient amount. Yeah, yes, I know. Calm down. Jeez. Big baby. All right, I'm gonna get some coffee. Right. I have more coffee. Danny, are you still here? Yeah, she's probably still here. Are you proud of me? You proud of me? What D&D supplement book, not one of the core rule books, would you recommend to get first as a DM? So assuming that you already have the player handbook, the monster manual, and the dungeon master guide, assuming you already have those core rule books, my personal choice as a dungeon master is going to be Volo's Guide to Monsters and Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, because it has more monsters in them. It has more monsters in them, and you can always use more monsters. So pick those up, get a bunch of monsters to run in your games. So that's a good way to go. A lot of, if you're running a module, obviously get the module that you're running. Xanathar's Guide to Everything has some useful stuff in it. Tasha's Guide to Everything also has some useful stuff in it. Not quite as much as those two monster manuals, the Volo's and Mordenkainen's, but there is some useful stuff in there. Campaign settings. If you are looking for a campaign setting, I cannot recommend the Eberron campaign setting for 5th edition enough. It is, you guys, it's so good. It is so good. It's so good. The project team that put together Eberron, amazing. These guys are geniuses. I love it so much. I have not found anything in Eberron to criticize. That's unusual for me. It's so good. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. I'm also going to do a little bit of a sleazy plug here, because I do publish a magazine every month to my patrons, and it does contain lots of resources for dungeon masters. And for a first-time dungeon master, it could be very useful for you too. It's going to have adventures in it that you can run with your group. If you're not sure how to make adventures yourself, it'll have adventures, pre-made adventures in them. It has maps for virtual tabletops to help you be able to do that and not have to make your own maps. It contains new monsters. It contains things like puzzles and traps and NPCs. It really has a wide variety of resources to help dungeon masters, veteran dungeon masters, and new dungeon masters too. So you can't go wrong with getting Lair Magazine as well. And I say that that's not disingenuous. It's very, very, I believe in that, you know. It is a good resource, and as a new dungeon master, you're gonna find lots of stuff in there that's gonna help you as well. And it's every single month. Every single month you get more stuff. By the way, I haven't mentioned this before, but I'm starting to do every single month. My patrons are going to be getting bonus content too. You're going to get Lair Magazine, but you're also gonna start getting additional content as well. I have additional adventures that I'm going to be giving away to my patrons. So each month, it's not always an adventure, but it'll be something. I'm gonna start doing map packs as well. I found a guy who is now making maps for me, and I've yet to get the first delivery of them. So I want to make sure they're nice high quality. I want to make sure I'm giving you guys high quality always, but I'm gonna start giving map packs as well. That's my plan. That's my plan right now. So bonus adventures, map packs, possibly other content. So I'm always looking to increase the amount of value that I'm giving my patrons and stuff. So look forward to that. It's a little bit down the road because there's a production queue. Everything takes a while to get through the workflow, you know, but that is coming. I don't have a 2 terabyte hard drive dedicated to maps. They're not that big. More maps, less caps. What caps? Oh, some people are doing bunches of caps. Oh yeah, don't do that. My moderators will not appreciate tons of caps. All right. Is there anything from the official 5e books that you nerf or ban? The official ones? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things in Xanathar's. There's a few things in Xanathar's. The Elven Accuracy, Healing Spirit, until they errated it, because it only took them 3 years to errata it. Those are 2 things that come to my mind. Ancestral Guardians is a subclass of barbarians, not allowed. Halfling Bountiful Luck, not allowed. There's a handful of things, but honestly, every time a player wants to do something from Tasha's, especially, Tasha's stuff is just powerful and broken. So every time somebody's like, can I play this? Can I play this? I'm like, that seems really powerful. Jeez. Now, it's a problem, but it's also a non-problem, because there's one of my Ancient Dragon players right now has a character that is extremely powerful in my opinion. He's playing a Cavalier, which I believe is from Tasha's. I read this thing over, I'm just like, wow, that's powerful. I allowed it, and the reason I allowed it is because in my mind I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make everything harder. Everything will be harder and I'll figure this out. So I was okay with it because I was willing to do that. It's a little bit more work on my part, but I was okay with it for this particular group. Will I allow it for every group? Maybe not. But it's something to keep an eye on. The new stuff is just getting increasingly more powerful. It's intentional. They're doing it intentionally. They are. People know they are. It's not like, whoa, whoopsie daisies. Whoop, that slipped through the cracks. They didn't slip through the cracks. Intentional. Is there a time in the evening when you stop drinking coffee? Kind of. If I need to stay up and work, here's the thing. I can drink coffee all the way up until the time I go to bed, and I can still go to bed and sleep. It doesn't almost never stops me from sleeping. But if I'm not planning on staying up late and working, I won't drink coffee at all in the evening. Like the only time I drink coffee in the morning. The only time I drink coffee in the evening is when I'm streaming or I have a little work to do and I need to be focused. But even yesterday, I had a bunch of work that I had to get done last night, and I drank tea instead, which still has a little bit of it's green tea. It has a little bit of caffeine, but not nearly as much. So, yeah, I avoid drinking coffee in the evening unless I need to, you know. Stream nights are different. I need to focus and be lively. So I drink coffee. Appropriate pay per hour for professional DM. Okay, let's take a look at this. That's a great question. I feel like I'm gonna want. I like this question. Some people are gonna be like, how can you charge for it? Okay, we're not going there. Okay. We're not gonna have that debate. I'll go. I'm getting my thing. Okay, so you want to charge, how much to charge per hour for professional DMing? So let's see. So let's pretend we're doing some calculations here. If you're so you have the time commitment, right? You're gonna run a game. It takes you 4 hours to run a game, right? 4 hours to run a game. Now, it might take you about 4 hours to prep the game too. And then you're going to probably have to drive somewhere, or the game, you'll have to be, hey, stop it. That did not sound like a friendly argument, so I had to yell at them. You're gonna have to drive somewhere, be there early, get things set up, and then afterward it might run over, chat around and stuff. So you probably got at least an hour baked into there. So for any given game session, you have about, what is that, 8? We'll just say 10 hours. You have a total of 10 hours into here, okay? So, now here's the thing though. So you have a 10-hour commitment to run a game. That's basically what you're talking about. And so what is that worth? What is 10 hours of your time worth? That's a great question. Because some people will be like, well, you know, if you make $10 an hour, you know, that's only $100. So if you have 5 players, that's only $20 per person, you know, and you make $100 because you're making $10 an hour. However, there's a huge problem with that argument because you were assuming that that person's time is only worth $10 an hour. Here's the thing. People in our society and in most societies, people who entertain, people who provide entertainment usually command salaries and wages that are way, way above anybody else's. If you look at athletes, they're entertainers. If you look at actors, actresses, they're entertainers. People who entertain in our society usually make way more than other people who don't entertain. Okay, our society values entertainment at a very high level, and wages are usually corresponding to that. So if you get a dungeon master who can provide 4 hours of solid entertainment to a group of people, that has a worth, that has a price to it. There's a value to that. Okay, so I would argue that getting paid $10 an hour for, and here's the other thing, there aren't a whole lot of people in this world who can, one, be good dungeon masters, first of all, and two, be so good that people are willing to pay them. How many people do you know that are not only really good dungeon masters, but they're so good that people are willing to pay for them? That. So you have a rarity problem. There aren't a whole lot of people that can even do it and do it well and get paid for it. So, you know, supply and demand. If there's demand for it and there's low supply, then that's going to increase the value of that service. So you have to take that into consideration. All right. So $10 an hour is ridiculous. Let's say, what if they get paid $50 an hour? Okay. Well, then you got $500, and then each person pays $100. All right. And then we're getting $50 an hour. Now that if you're a contractor and you got to pay your own medical care, health insurance and stuff like that, $50 an hour is probably considered a bare minimum. It's a bare minimum for professional work where you have to pay for your own healthcare and crap like that. Okay, so I would argue that you're, in my personal opinion, if you're good enough to do it and provide entertainment value, price yourself appropriately. You're giving up your time and you're providing entertainment to people, and you're doing something that very few people can do. So this is not unreasonable to me. For it to cost this much. Now you enter the other problem of this. Are people willing to pay that? Right? Because you could price yourself this way and you could rationalize it as I have thus rationalized it. But if people aren't willing to pay this price, then you will not get anybody to pay this price. You know what I mean? So there's always that to consider. How much are people willing to pay for the service? Because if they're not, and you can't convince them to, then you're not going to make any money, So there's that to consider. I would say that my gut tells me that most pro DMs charge way less than they probably should. That's my personal opinion, because they're doing something that very few people can do. So. Many entertainers are doing it for free or for exposure. Okay, well then, good for them. But we're talking about getting paid for it. Don't save. Just close it. Why was that hard? If you want to do it for free, then do it for free. But if you want to get paid, get paid. And I wouldn't underprice yourself. Most people underprice themselves. Almost everyone underprices themselves. Most people do not. Even professionals, they don't value their time, and they think they're afraid to ask for what they're actually worth. Either they don't know what they're worth, or they're afraid to ask for what they think they're worth. They're just afraid. I have lots of people I work with, and I'll ask them, hey, how much do you charge for various things? I'll ask, how much do you charge for your services? How much do you charge for that, or that? And they give me these prices, and I'm just like, that's it? Okay, I'll pay you that. That's the if somebody asks what you charge for something, you give them your price, and they're just like, okay, sounds good. That's the first, maybe I didn't ask enough. Once you start pricing yourself too high and people start saying, no, that's too much, then you're like, okay, I might be too high. But if everybody's saying yes, then you're not charging enough. Probably the market probably will support a higher price for whatever service you're offering. Tell Matt Mercer he is only entertaining 5 to 7 people when he DMs. Pfft, that dude is entertaining thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people, millions, you could argue. He is entertaining crap tons of people. That dude deserves all the money he has. Dang. Yeah, I have no problem with people making crap tons of money when they're doing amazing stuff. It's helping lots of people. There's nothing wrong with that. And I guarantee you, though, the thing is once you start to make a certain threshold of income, more doesn't actually help you. And you start to give a lot of money away. I speak from experience to a certain extent. It's like you start to make a certain amount and you're just like, I don't need any more. What am I going to do with it? Oh, I'm going to donate some of it. For instance, I have a guy who's full-time staff with the church that I used to go to. It's in a different city, so I don't go there anymore. But I give him a bunch of money each month so that he can continue working with the church. I donate now to the Humane Society near my house right now. I give them every month. I give them money to the Humane Society so they can help cats and dogs and stuff like that. I donate to like other things. I'm probably gonna donate. I'm gonna give a bunch of money to what are these guys? Stack Up and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like you get to a point where it's like you don't need money. Like more numbers in the bank account doesn't actually make you feel any better. But when you're helping people and you're donating money, that makes you feel better. And then you're doing something of more value. So these guys that make crap tons of money, they're giving away crap tons of money too. So I don't know. That's a different subject. This is philosophy from Luke. All right. Questions. Oh, there are no blue questions. Where are all the blue questions? Have a flat fee per session? I mean, ideally, yes. Having a flat fee per session probably would be a good way to go. And then whether it's 2 people or 5 people or 6 people, as long as they can figure out the cost themselves, and then as long as you're making what your fee is, you'd be fine. Most pro DMs I've seen are around 24 to 36 US dollars for 2 times per week game. And those are very established DMs, and they average 5 to 7 2-hour games per week. They spend 30 or so hours a week doing game prep. So wait a second. They're 24 to 36 dollars per hour? Is that what they do? Is it per hour? My wife is blending something. I don't know if you guys can hear the blender. Can you guys hear the blender? That's the blender. I don't know if you guys can hear that. She's making something up there. You can? Yes. She's blending something. I mean, I hope it's hummus, Goliath Cleric. I really do. Gorum, thank you for the tier 1. I appreciate that. We have begun to chip away at 𝐑𝐄𝐒. 𝐑𝐄𝐒 right here, his hit point bar is starting to go down. You can kill him or her. I don't know. 𝐑𝐄𝐒 doesn't help me a whole lot. You can kill him or her by tipping, subbing, and sending cheers. And then we currently will have a giveaway at the end of the stream. Whoever's there is going to win. But if we kill 𝐑𝐄𝐒, then 2 people are going to win our giveaway. You'll either get an issue of Layer magazine, or if you're already a patron, you will get an issue. You will get a D&D book of your choice, courtesy of Luke. That's me. Margaritas. My wife makes such good margaritas. We go to restaurants a lot, and every time we get a margarita from a restaurant, they're always so bad. She doesn't like any of them. The ones she makes at home are amazing. And I'm always just like, why do you buy margaritas? Why don't you just make them at home? Because she makes them really good. Bram Silverleaf, hello. Luke, that guy. I'm that guy. What did I do? Dan and Dan are going to win. Dan Bayer. I don't think so. Sour mix with tequila. Yeah, yes, Goliath Cleric. It probably is. They're cheating. My wife makes the real stuff. Okay. Why did the Ancestral Guardian Barbarian get banned? Because basically it makes any boss fight ridiculously a sleaze, where the boss can only ever attack the barbarian. Like you lock the boss down and make the boring. It's in part it's because it's overpowered, but it's also in part because it makes the battle boring. The boss can only do one thing ever: attack the barbarian. That's it. I'm only attacking the barbarian ever. It's just such a sleaze fest. It makes it destroys gameplay. It ruins my fun too. As the dungeon master, it ruins my fun. I can no longer play my monsters. I can no longer role play them. I can't have any fun in the battles anymore because I have to attack the barbarian every single time. It ruins, it's overpowered. It makes the battles uninteresting for the players, in my opinion, and it ruins my fun as the dungeon master. So there was a whole slew of reasons where I was just like, no, man, this isn't happening. So yeah, it got bye-bye. It's the same reason I personally, as a dungeon master, almost never use banishment on players or polymorph on players and turn them into things that can't fight, because I'm taking them out of the combat and I'm telling them, I'm sorry, you can no longer play the game for the next hour unless somebody happens to get you unbanished. And that's not cool. It's not cool. That's why I don't use those options for spells and stuff very often as a dungeon master, because I want my players to play the game. I don't want them to sit on the sideline because they got banished. This sucks. You know, so the Ancestral Barbarian, it made me feel that way, where I'm just like, oh, I can't play the game anymore. I can only just roll the dice and do damage to the barbarian. I can no longer play the game. This kind of sucks. I was like, I got sent to the corner, you know? So I don't know. Those are the reasons. Some folks will think those are bad reasons. I don't really care. It's like I'm not running a game where I'm miserable. If I'm running a game where I'm miserable, that game's not gonna last long, I guarantee you. Oyster 2000. I keep calling you Oyster. It's probably like Oster or something. OND. Oh, it's also OND. Oh, I can just say ON too. Thank you for the $10, dude. I helped slay Luke. Now we shall fell 𝐑𝐄𝐄. Oh man, he's gunning for 𝐑𝐄𝐄 now. Owen works. Okay, cool. Toaster without the T. Oster. Oh, Oster. Oh, okay, cool. It's better to ban the subclass than to kill the PC because it breaks the game. Oh, absolutely. I'm not gonna kill a PC because it breaks the game. I'm just gonna talk to the player. And that's what I did. Well, it was first of all, it was for a one shot. One of my players was playing that subclass for a one shot game, and it only took one game for me to see that it was messed up. And then after the game was over, I put into my character creation thing that subclass is not allowed. The same thing happened with Halfling Bountiful Luck. It only took one game session for the entire group to see how crazy powerful it was and how often it procced. And then afterwards I talked to the player and I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna be able to work this way. We're gonna have to put like a limit on this. You can't just do it every single turn of combat with your reaction. We're gonna put a limit on it, similar to the lucky feat, which is kind of the same thing. 3 times per rest or something. I forget what it was, but I was like, we're gonna have to make a change to this. But then I told him, now, because I'm changing this, you're welcome to pick a different feat if you want to. You can pick a different feat or an ASI if you want, because I know I'm nerfing this. So you're welcome to just swap something out if you want. The player came back and was like, you know what? Actually, he was playing a Halfling Sorcerer. Halfling Sorcerer. That is not a very good combination. There's no synergies there with that species and with that class. And so he told me, he's like, you know what? The only reason I took Halfling was for that feat, because, you know, Halfling's not very good for a sorcerer. So he changed his entire species. We call him race, but it's really species. He changed his entire species because of that feat. And at that point, I realized, oh, that's how powerful the feat is. A player is willing to take a suboptimal race to get that feat. That told me all I needed to know, and that reinforced like my confidence in that decision. Yeah, he was totally metaing it. Absolutely. Yes, you can't use race anymore due to, yeah, Wizards would fix so many of their social media problems and people like tweeting at them and freaking out if they would just stop calling them races and call them species. Or Pathfinder now calls them ancestries. Ancestry is what Pathfinder calls them now in Pathfinder 2nd edition. If they just got rid of that word, people would stop going crazy on them. They just got to get rid of that word. They don't. It's like you got to get rid of that word. Get rid of that word. People can't take that word. People freak out over that word. Yeah. So, ancestries. Yeah. Ed is best bean. It's not even a sentence. It's not. Wow. I pay you to edit my stuff and write stuff for me. I'm losing confidence. Ed is awesome. Yes. Are you guys talking about Ed Robinson? Is that the Ed you're talking about? Somebody said both are really way OP. Oh, inaccuracy? Yeah, that's OP. Way OP. Yeah, you are. Yeah, Ed is amazing. Ed is amazing. I cannot believe that guy. He contributes lots of stuff to Layer Magazine, by the way. And the stuff he contributes is just outstanding. It is top-notch caliber stuff. It blows my mind. I would be hard-pressed to create content for the magazine as well as he does. He's just so good. He's so good at it. And he ran a one-shot for us. Like, was it last week? Was the one-shot last week? It was so good. He did such a good job running that game. Oh man, it was so good. I had tons of fun. What did I tell him afterwards? It's hard for me to be a player in games because it just is. But I was all in for his game. I was loving it. It was beautiful. And we died too. That was great. Okay. Oster, let's see. Okay, $10 tip. We got that. 𝐑𝐄𝐒 cheered 100 bits. Wondering if this will increase my health. I don't think it did it? I don't think that increased your health. I have it set up so that it doesn't. I can change it so it does increase your health. But it didn't. You just helped kill yourself, dude. You missed the end. It's over on my second YouTube channel, the DM Layer Streams. That's I put all the stuff that I stream goes over there, and that game is over there too. And then we died. It was great. Yes. 𝐑𝐄𝐒 committing suicide. Well, he's cheering and reducing his own hit points. Okay. Any tips for running a D&D group for the local library where people drop in and drop out? Yeah, pre-generated characters. That'd be one thing that I would do. So that when somebody comes and drops in and doesn't have a character, here you go. Here's a character. Now let's play. That's the first thing. Or you know, if somebody knows what level you're playing and can make their own character, they just show up with the character. Boom, here we go. Let's go. And then you get 5 or 6 people and you just run an adventure. You run an adventure and you got to hand wave some stuff. You got to just assume that they're an adventuring party and you're going in. You can't sit there for 2 hours. How did you guys meet? And what are your guys' names? And could you give a description of what you look like, the color of your hair and your eyeballs? What shape are they? Could you talk a little bit about the tailoring you have and your clothing and your style and stuff? Now, could you talk a little bit about your backstories, you know, and talk about these things? It's like, holy crap. If you do that for every game, you're not going to play the game. You're just going to sit there and talk about that stuff. So you got to hand wave some of that stuff. Some of the stuff that we do when we're playing normal games need to get hand waved a little bit, so that you can actually get into the game and play. There are some people that love that stuff and eat that stuff up. There are other people that could care less about that stuff. And you probably want to get into the meat of the game and not spend a whole lot of time on that. Next suggestion for you, if you're running a drop in, drop out game, would be try to run adventures that have a beginning and an end that you can, in other words, you can get through the entire adventure in that one night. You do not want to have an adventure only get partially finished and then the next time you guys meet, finish that adventure, because some of the people won't be able to come back for it. And then you're going to have new people and they're going to be jumping in the middle of an adventure. You're going to spend time like explaining to them, getting them caught up. So I would definitely pick an adventure that's shorter that you can get through in the entire evening. So you get through the entire adventure in the evening. So those are some of the tips that come off the top of my head for running a drop-in, drop-out adventure at a library. So there are probably some other things that would be advisable, but that's pretty good. That'll get you started. And then you'll learn stuff as you go. You'll learn stuff. You'll learn what works and what doesn't work. You know, you probably want to do stuff like not allow evil characters so that you don't have to deal with all that horse crap. You probably want to have a handout that explains certain things, like don't be the Lone Ranger edgelord that wanders away from the group. This is a group game. Stay with us. Go on adventures. This is how the game works. You know, you need to have some guidelines that people are going to follow when you're running a game like that. Otherwise, it just falls apart and you're going to be hitting your head against a brick wall repeatedly. It's kind of like running it's very similar to running a game at a convention in a lot of regards. All right, where was that? Local library. That was a good question. Let's see. 1 hour, 20 minutes. What are your tips for in-person games versus online games? I'm just about to start running in-person games for the first time in a couple years, and I'm looking for some advice. So you've been running online games, and now you're going to start running in-person games. I'm trying to think of what some of the differences are. One of the things that in online games you usually don't have a problem with is cross-table chatter, lots of different people talking at the same time. Because in an online game, if more than one person is talking, nobody understands anything. It's just incomprehensible gobbledygook. So you can't really have cross-table chatter at an online game. In person, however, cross-table chatter is a real thing. You'll have a couple players sitting next to each other whispering or talking or something. Somebody else over there is talking, and then you're, as a dungeon master, you're trying to run the game and explain things, and they're not either they're not paying attention and you got to repeat yourself, or they cause a distraction for the rest of the group who's trying to listen to you. So one tip for running in-person games is to manage the cross-table chatter. Make sure that when you're talking, people are paying attention to you. They're not talking and causing distractions and stuff, and they're not missing stuff that you're explaining and then have to explain over again. So that is a difference between online games and in-person games, just how you manage your table and how you manage the game. What other things for in-person games that you might run into? You're probably gonna find most things about in-person are easier. I guarantee you. For me personally, running an online game has been more challenging and more difficult than running an in-person game ever was. In-person games are easy. You're going to find that the social atmosphere is improved and better in an in-person game. You can develop connections with people a lot better. It's easier to understand people, easier to hear people. It's more fun, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to... My guess is you're probably not going to have a very difficult time transitioning from an online game to an in-person game, because in-person games are just easier. Now, you're probably not going to have like a nice map in Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or something for the tokens and all that kind of stuff. You're going to need a physical map, but that's easy. That costs like $10 or something. You get a physical map and then some dry erase markers and you draw on it. It's not a big deal. And then people could have either physical miniatures or they could use little tokens or something, like tactical tokens, or they can use like buttons or M&Ms or something. I don't know. That might get dirty. So you're going to need some physical stuff to run in-person games, unless you do theater of the mind. I don't know how you run online games currently. If you run your online games as theater of the mind, then you could easily do that in person. Not a problem. If you use like, map and minis online, then you're going to want something to do that in person. But I don't think, tactical tokens are really, really good in person. Yeah, I agree. There's a website, you can order them. That's the biggest thing, is a cross-table chatter that comes to my mind. I don't think there's a whole lot of problems. Now, if your question were reversed and you would be like, I'm in person, I'm going to online, then that's a bigger thing to adapt to. That's a little bit more challenging, and not as fun. Hope that helps a little bit. I know you don't like Tasha's thing of make your own races, but would you ever let players use that feature to make 5e versions of older edition race variants? As an example, Sun Elves with a bonus to intelligence instead of dexterity used. Yeah, probably. I would be open to something like that. It would need to be balanced. You know, that's the big thing. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Any advice or thoughts on using a hybrid setup for in-person games? Hybrid setup meaning using a TV laid flat for the map, displaying digital maps, and using a virtual tabletop to help manage the game. I don't really have any advice on that because I've never done that before. Do I have any thoughts on that? Yes, that could be very, very cool. You get the advantage of having a really cool map that people can move their tokens around when you have a TV. I've seen people with that. The TV screen is either flat or they have a projector above the table that projects the image down onto the table. I've seen both of those, and those can be really cool. My thoughts are that could be really cool. I think that's all I have. My game store has sold me over. I love how you worded that question or that comment. My game store has sold me over 20 Icons of the Realms booster packs. So it's not I have bought over 20 booster packs, but my game shop has sold me. It's kind of like it's their fault. They're the ones that forced me to buy those products. And now I have all these cool miniatures. That's perfect wording. Whoa. Little guy. Uh-oh, little guy's coming. Oh, we have 2 cat loafs. Look at these guys. Little cat loafs. Look at them. They're like, what's up? What's up? Little guy. Come here, little guy. Oh, little guy. What's that, little guy? You want your belly rubbed? You want your belly rubbed? He's adorable. He's gonna roll. Little guy, roll. Little guy, roll. Now, sometimes he always rolls, but he doesn't always do it on command. Yeah, I know. They're just all over the place. Oh, we did that. I answered that one too. What was the inspiration for naming the pasta kitties? I used to make 2,000 ravioli a week by hand at an old job. Holy crap, dude. That's crazy. You do cook. My daughter came up with it. She was I was literally calling the pasta kitties. I was literally calling them little guy, little girl, and mommy too, because we already have a mommy. That's her name, literally mommy. That's what the vet has her registered as, mommy. And I was just like, mommy too, little guy, and little girl. That's all I got. And my daughter came up, and one day she came down and she's like, okay, we have names for them now. Oh, what are the names? They are tortellini, ravioli, and gnocchi. Oh, okay. Fine, that sounds good to me. Let's do that. And so now they are the pasta kitties. And that's where that came from. My daughter came up with that. I don't know how she was inspired to do that, but that's what she got. And I was okay with that. I still call them little guy and little girl and mommy too. I still call them that. I already answered that question too. Wow, Danny's level of sass tonight. Yes, Penguin Butt. Goliath Cleric is encouraging people to kill the boss. We have 𝐑𝐄𝐒. 𝐑𝐑𝐄𝐒, are you still here? We have to kill him by the end of the stream. donating, if you cheer, if you subscribe, or if you send tips. If you tip, he's still here. Yeah, if you tip, you will reduce his hit points, and if he dies, the giveaway tonight will be doubled. Twice as many people will win our giveaway tonight. You'll either get an issue of Layer magazine, or if you're already a patron, you will get a D&D book of your choice from me. Yeah, yes, that's correct. Tips do double damage. It's better to tip than it is to cheer or sub. So if you want to do even more damage, you know, pound for pound or dollar for dollar, whatever, tipping is the optimal route. If you want to min max, if you want to power game. Can we become a patron today and then also get the book if we win, of course? It's like taking advantage of the system, right? If you're not currently a patron, if you're not already a patron, then I can't honor that. That's probably wouldn't fly with me. However, if you've been a patron before today, then I'll honor that. If you're an existing patron. But if you find out that you're the winner and then you immediately become a patron and then to get the book, like that's a little bit of, like, you know, gaming the system that I'm not comfortable with. So, but existing patrons, absolutely. Just gaming the system, nah, I can't do that. That is power gaming. Yes, Oster's like, that is power gaming. It absolutely is. Yeah. Danny's like, don't break the system. That's our job. What? Danny, you're part of the system. Wasn't that in your job description? Don't we have that in your working agreement? You are part of the system. What is your advice for building a world? How would you approach building, creating major cities, etc.? I don't create my own worlds for my D&D games. I use pre-existing settings. My main reason for that is most of the time players don't really care too much about the world. It's kind of a black backdrop. Players care about their characters, and players care about the adventures they go on and the loot they get, the magic items and stuff, because that directly affects their characters. So I don't spend a whole lot of time on creating the world because it's not the most important part of the game. I spend my time on the elements of the game that are more important. And for me, namely, that's the adventures that I create. So I use pre-existing setting, which means I don't create my own worlds for D&D games. However, I have created several worlds when I used to write books. When I was trying to write fantasy novels and stuff, which I don't do anymore because it's insane. And your chances of success are so low and improbable that, yeah. Anyway, I discovered that and I was like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're gonna do something with my time and effort that has a more chance of having success in life. But when I was writing fantasy novels, I created several worlds. And my advice on building a world, approach to world building, creating major cities and stuff like that. I'm going to give you a synopsis, and then I'm going to recommend a book to you that will go into more detail. So there are two ways to create a world. You can start small, just the local area where the immediate adventure is taking place. And then you can, as the campaign progresses and as the players start to go different places, you build the world more and more. Start small, go big. The other way you can do it too, which is often helpful, is to have an overview of major continents, major nations or countries, major cities, and then have an overview of things, have a general idea of different organizations that might be in the game world, the pantheon, stuff like that, and then start small and then grow big. So that's probably the most, have a overview of it, but then really focus on developing the immediate world around the adventuring group. And that way, if they ask questions about the wider world, you have some answers, but you really have the best answers about that local area that you're actively developing. So start that way. As far as what kind of information you need to know about that local area and stuff, I would literally get a pre-existing book like the Eberron setting and see what sorts of information they create for their game world in Eberron, and then make that same information for your own game setting. So when they detail a city, they're going to list certain information. Okay, I need that information for my city. You can always just look at something that somebody else did and kind of copy it a little bit. Not like the content, but like the organization and the information that they have, you know. So that's a good way to do that too. Now, the book that I'm going to recommend to you. So I'm going to get my camera here. I have not read this entire book yet, but the portions of this book that I have read are amazing. It is called Arbiter of Worlds, and it is by Alexander Macris. I'm probably saying that wrong. It is available on Amazon. It is on my store. If you put a link to my Amazon store, moderators, I'm pretty sure I have this listed in my Amazon store. I'm only about like a quarter of the way through it, but it's very good. And there is a section on it that talks about, I think it's right here, tops and bottoms. It talks about top down, zoom in. And then I think there's another one. It talks about, there are some things about world building in it. It does have a little bit of information about world building. It's not like the whole book. The whole book isn't about world building. There's lots of good information in here so far of the parts that I've read. But there is some world building information here as well that might be helpful to you. So you can go take a look at that. Owen, thank you for the $10 tip. He's like, well, if it's double damage, boom. Thank you, dude. We are slowly whittling away at 𝐑𝐄𝐒. By the way, folks, don't forget about Stack Up too. That's the wrong button. I'm trying to, in the month of May, I'm trying to raise as much money as I can for Stack Up. They are a 501c3 military charity that does amazing stuff for our veterans. They do, they have mental health programs and things they help with. They give veterans that are deployed, active service members, gaming stuff to help them to just keep good mental health while they're serving our country overseas. And they also have like a suicide help hotline that people can call 24/7. So they do lots of amazing stuff for our veterans. So if you want to help our folks in the military, there is a link right there where you can go donate to Stack Up. So I'm trying to raise, my goal is $5,000 in the month of May for these guys. And we are almost at 1,000. We're almost at 1,000. And I have certain milestone goals as well. If we hit our milestone goals, people will get stuff, such as maybe even playing in a game of D&D with me. So yeah, feel free to donate, help our military folk. Appreciate it. Oh, Ammo Sean says, did 20 years in the Air Force. Thank you for your support. You're very welcome, dude. I had both of my grandpas served in World War II. One of them was in the Navy, and the other one I'm pretty sure was in the Air Force. I know for sure one was in the Navy. The other one I'm pretty sure I think was in the Air Force as well. And then my dad did not serve. He was drafted. Check this out. My dad was drafted twice for Vietnam. Twice was my dad drafted. This is before I was born. He was drafted twice. The first time he was drafted, he had just hurt his knee playing football. And he went into the draft office and he's like, I can barely walk, look at my knee. And they're like, okay, all right, that's fine. You can leave. You're not going to serve your country today. You can barely walk. He just had surgery on his knee and stuff. So he got out, right? The second time he got drafted, he had his arm amputated because he got his arm caught in a corn picker, got it all mangled, and they had to amputate it. Also, interesting story. While they were amputating his arm, he woke up in the middle of surgery. While they were amputating his arm, he came to. This is back in like, you know, my dad was born in like 1950, so this was back probably about 1950, 60, 70, 1970 or so, maybe 1970. Yeah, I don't know, somewhere around there. But anyway, he woke up in the middle of surgery, and he was coming to as he was being amputated, and the doctor saw him and just punched him in the face and knocked him out. Can you imagine if somebody who's in the middle of amputating, right, comes to and just starts to fight and freak out? Big problem. Anyway, he just punched him in the face. My dad told me this story. He's like, yeah, I started to wake up and he just punched me in the face and knocked me out. You can't do that today. If you do that today, you have like malpractice suits against you. You lose, like, did doctors have license? I don't know. You're in trouble. My dad thought it was funny. So yeah, my dad, so he got his arm amputated, his left arm. He was left-handed and he lost his left arm. And then, so the second time he was drafted, he went into the recruit office or draft office or whatever it is. And they're like, yeah, you don't have an arm. Okay, goodbye. Have a nice day. I'm probably alive today because my dad had his knee messed up and then lost his arm. I might not be here today because, you know, lots of people who were drafted in Vietnam did not come home. So I probably owe my life to that. Oh, your dad served in Vietnam. Oh, nice. Very cool. Lots of folks here. Nice. You could do it today, but only once. It's a weird way to cast Cure Wounds. The Way of the Mercy Monk. I have a player who's the Way of the Mercy Monk. All right. 1 year German Navy. Awesome. Yeah, there are lots of veterans here. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Your dad served in Korea. I wanted to join the Air Force, but was rejected due to medical issues. Oh, that stinks. I'm watching right now, The Pacific, I think is what it's called. It's an HBO miniseries or something. Really cool, really cool. I loved Band of Brothers. Oh my gosh. If you guys have not seen Band of Brothers, it's an HBO miniseries. It is amazing. It's such a good miniseries. And I'm watching The Pacific right now. I just started watching that, and it's really cool too. It has a similar style to Band of Brothers, it feels like. So I like it a lot. Mr. Crinkle, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate that. We have 𝐑𝐄𝐒 is down to about 3/4 health. He's getting closer to dying. All right, let's keep going with questions. We're gonna do a cat trip in a second here. What is the best and worst wizard subclass in your opinion? I don't know. I don't play wizards a whole lot. I really can't answer that. Sorry. I'm a dungeon master. I don't really play as a player very often at all. And honestly, wizards don't appeal to me. I don't think I've ever played a wizard. Yeah, those just don't appeal to me. I usually like, if I'm a spellcaster, I usually am also able to do melee combat as well. Rogues are my favorite. Rogues are probably my absolute favorite class to play. I feel like I love rogues so much. I've talked about why so many times too. Newish DM here. When thinking about homebrew things, I'm inspired not by story, but by mechanics and environments, a la MMOs, raid mechanics, any pitfalls to avoid, or bad idea in general. No, I think that's, I don't, you know, that's very interesting. You're talking about homebrew things. When you're homebrewing things, when I homebrew dungeons, a lot of times I think about the story, but I'm also very heavily thinking about the mechanics, and the environment, and how the boss fight is going to work. What's the terrain like, and how is this going to work? How's this fight? How can I make this fight interesting for my players? You know, so I think about the mechanics all the time. There's an element of thinking about the story, but you have to think about the mechanics too, because the game is full of mechanics. So you got to think about the mechanics. Any pitfalls to avoid? One, it's not all about story. So don't fall into the lie where, because people are going to be like that. They're going to be like, it's all about the story. It's all about the story. No, it's not all about the story. It's also about rolling dice and killing stuff and doing damage and getting cool magic items. There are lots of game elements that cause people to be entertained during the game. And the story is there, and the story helps, and the story makes it fun, you know? But that's not the only thing. Mechanics and lots of other things contribute to people having fun in the game. So yeah, we should be careful not to not think that it's all about story, because it's not. It's not. And besides which, the story only happens after the game. Like, you don't even know what the story is going to be until your players have run through your adventure. And then you know what the story actually ended up being. Because as a dungeon master, remember, you don't create the story. You create a situation. This is the situation. There is this castle with a bad guy in it, and they're doing horrible things in the world. That's not a story. That's not a story. That's a situation. That's something happening in the game world that the players could do any number of things to interact with that. And then, based upon how they interact with that, a story unfolds. And that's the story that gets told after the game is over. And they say, oh yeah, we ran into this ogre and we convinced this ogre to be on our side and he fought along with us and it was amazing. And then at the end of the adventure, yeah, we gave him half of the money and we sent him on his way. It was great. That's the story. The dungeon master didn't envision that story. The dungeon master made a dungeon. He made a castle. He made an adventure. Players interacted with it and his story happened. So I don't think that I see any necessary pitfalls in your approach there to thinking about those things. But keep your eyes open, you know, be observant, watch for things that happen. Is your approach working? Are your players having fun? Do they seem excited? Do they keep coming back? You know, ask them for feedback on a frequent basis to see how things are going, if there's anything you could improve upon. So don't get complacent, you know, and be wise and discerning and keep your eyes open and see if there's any way to improve, you know. And I answered that one. Oh, nice. I'm actually going to put that, my recording is about 10 minutes behind. So I'm going to put 1 hour and 50 minutes in there. When Luke gets coffee, I will be the British version of get tea. Luke, please get coffee before someone or people revolt. Wow, who's gonna revolt? He has 1 minute until I revolt. Oh wait, it's 8 o'clock. All right, it's time for a cat trip. Let's do a cat trip. Cat trip. Cat trip. I know somebody redeemed a cat trip. Where are my reward requests? Cat trip. Mr. Gorks. Yeah. All right, let's do our cat trip. It's cat trip time. 2 a.m. Dang. What am I doing? All right. There we go. It's cat crack time. It's actually catnip. But it's cat time. All right, I got 3 cats down here looking at me. I have to find their stuff. I have to find their bananas and stuff. Hold on a second. I have 4 cats. Ugh. All right, they're following me. I have their banana. All right, I can't find their carrot. I don't know where the carrot is. They love the happy carrot. So that thing gets dragged all over the place. Yeah. Oh, let's change our camera. Do the other one. do the other one. There we go. Orange. How you pack the carrot and the banana? You're in cat labor watch? No way. How is this? Like my camera got bumped or something. My camera got bumped. That's what it looks like. That's really weird. Yeah. I'm gonna move my camera down a little bit. It got bumped somehow. Must have gotten bumped. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm gonna get coffee now. What just happened? Did Orange attack somebody? Was Orange behaved? Or did he try to attack somebody? Oh, maybe he was behaved. Sometimes Orange attacks the other cats. He killed 2 of them? What? Orange was a good nugget? All right, I gotta change my... Oh, he's flipping out. Configure video. Auto exposure off. And -6. There we go. That's better. All right, fix that. I request Barbarian. Can you promote the merch for Danny? Can you and she requested Barbarian. Okay. All right, I will plug the merch for Danny because she's very, very special. Ed Robinson, hello. He's hopped up on paid meds. He's ready to rock and roll. Is your wife there supervising you, Ed? I wouldn't want you to do anything crazy. Is your wife there with you? Danny's like, Ed, sleep. Danny, that is so hypocritical. How can you possibly command somebody else to sleep? She is? Okay, cool. All right, we are doing a Making Luke Talk in Character, promoting the merch for Danny. All right. All right, everybody. I just want to let you know that I have a merch store that has lots of really cool stuff that you can go buy. There are t-shirts that say the DM layer on them, and then the back of the t-shirt says, I've been a dungeon master since... Well, how's it go? I've been a dungeon master for a really long time, okay? So you can go to the merch store, that there's a link right there, and you can get a bunch of really cool t-shirts to wear, and there's also other stuff over there too. You can technically get other cool stuff like back issues of Layer magazine and other things that I publish over there. Well, you can also go to my store too for that if you want. But let me emphasize that the merch and the t-shirts and hoodies, high quality, very soft hoodies I might add, are available over there as well. And today and only today, if you buy my merch, I will be very happy. So please go take a look. Yeah, that's a special one-time offer to make me happy. There we go. I've been a dungeon master since middle school. Oh yeah, that's what the shirts say. I've been a dungeon master. That doesn't seem right. Oh no, mommy's rolling, you guys. Look at how adorable her belly is. Look at how adorable she is. Don't you just want to rub her belly? It's so adorable. She's got the softest belly. You guys have no idea how soft her belly is. Oh my word. It's like, oh, she's so adorable. Orange is better. Orange is just a big bald lump. Oh yeah, that's ravioli. Yep, that's your boy. Oh, if you wore your awesome Into the Face shirt, yeah. Go pet her belly. Oh no, she doesn't like that. She'll run away. If I go over there to pet her belly, she'll run away. She's posing for the camera. Yes, this is absolutely what she's doing. No. Oh, Ed, I keep forgetting. I was gonna send you one, wasn't I, Ed? Yeah, I forgot about that. By the way, we still have, you still have to kill the boss. Our boss is down to 3/4 hit points. We have under an hour left to go to kill the boss. And if we get there, then 2 people are going to win our giveaway tonight. So, subbing, tipping, what's the other thing? Cheering will help kill the boss. You guys have already killed me tonight. And now we are focusing on killing 𝐑𝐄𝐄. And then at the end of the stream, everyone here is gonna be entered into the pool to win cool stuff. She's slowly rolling off stream, off camera. Oh, dude, 𝐑𝐄𝐒, you're good. you need to stop. Look at mommy. Mommy, she needs to come back on camera. Why is she going off camera? She loves that thing. She so loves that thing. Who is the animal nut? You or the wifey? I am, but my wife is also more and more becoming an animal nut, or a cat lover. At first, like, she didn't, like, if I would pick a cat up, she'd be like, oh my gosh, they're so dirty, don't do that. And now this is today. Was it today? I think it was today or yesterday. No, it's yesterday. Yesterday I came home from the gym and my wife was cooking and one of the cats was on the counter we have like an island in the kitchen where the stove is, and the cat was up on the island just sitting there, and my wife was cooking, and I'm just like, what are you doing? You can't let the cat on the kitchen counter while you're cooking. And she's just like, oh, whatever, she does what she wants. I'm just like, what? That would have never happened, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. Never. All right, let's keep going here. And they have stopped rolling. Cats rule the world. Hey, you're not allowed to look at this. This is top secret stuff. Stop looking at that. How do you feel about Wizards of the Coast and others not using more of the Forgotten Realms in their settings? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that the official setting of 5th edition is Forgotten Realms, and yet there is no 5th edition source book for Forgotten Realms. We have Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. That's not a source book. That's a sorry excuse for a book. Like we have the official Forgotten Realms and we don't have a source book. Nothing like Eberron, you know. So what was the question? They don't use more of the Forgotten Realms in their settings. I mean, at the end of the day though, it's their prerogative. If they don't want to do it, you know, they don't have to. They get to make their own decisions. It's kind of ironic, but I don't really care a whole lot because a setting like Eberron is way more interesting. And even the Epic Odyssey of Theros, which I haven't got a chance to read really, those settings seem way more interesting than the Forgotten Realms. And if I wanted to run it, I have the 2nd edition source material for Forgotten Realms, which is almost the same stuff. So if I wanted to run Forgotten Realms, I would just use my second. I do reference my 2nd edition stuff a lot. Or I'll use the Forgotten Realms wiki that's online too. Honestly, these days, if I'm researching something about the Forgotten Realms setting, I use the wiki online to find information for it. It's fast and convenient. The only thing that I hate about the wiki, I want to show you what I hate about the wiki online. The thing that I think is so dumb. We're gonna look up Baldur's Gate. So Forgotten Realms, Baldur's Gate, and if I can find, there we go, Forgotten Realms. Let's look at the wiki page. This is what I hate about it. Let me show you. Everything is written in past tense. It's so dumb. I don't know. Somebody created a style guide for the wiki, and in their style guide, it must dictate that everything is written in past tense, and it's so ridiculous. Baldur's Gate, also called simply the Gate, was the largest metropolis and city-state on the Sword Coast. It was a crowded city of commerce. Everything's in the past tense. Everything. Baldur's Gate still exists. It hasn't been destroyed. It's still there. But they've basically, no matter whether they're talking about the past, present, or future, they use like the past tense. It is the most confusing way to read and write. And it's like that throughout all of the articles that I've seen. And I have no idea why they created that in their style guide. I mean, I'm assuming they have a style guide that they give their writers so that they know how to write this stuff, because it's a pretty consistent theme. Everything's in the past tense. And it's just a really, oh my gosh. As a writer, I am complaining every time that I have to read this stuff. It's good information. I just wish they would not write everything in past tense, because it's pretty stupid. Anyway, that's my gripe. I keep clicking the wrong button, and I keep going to the bumper. So we didn't save the realm. Yeah. Wikipedia is the same way. I don't know why they do that. There's got to be a reason that that's their style guide. It's written from the future, obviously. And here comes Dan with his pearl of wisdom. All right. trying to create my first character on D&D Beyond, how important would you say is creating an intricate character backstory? I just gave you the answer right there with a look. Does it give the DM... Moderators, don't do that. Put it back. Put it back. Thank you, moderators. Like, I'm reading the question and it's deleted. Does it give the DM more to work with or limit in which directions they can move the storyline along with? Yes and no. So there are lots of different ways you can look at your backstory. There are two main purposes for your backstory. One, it is a role-playing guide for you as the player. It helps you role-play your character. Knowing what your backstory is, your parents, your history, how you became an adventurer, what motivates you, all those sorts of things. That helps you role-play your character. That is the first purpose of it. So if you personally as a player get lots of value from a backstory and that helps you role-play your character better, then put some work into your backstory. I sometimes have, or oftentimes have characters that have no backstory at all because I just don't care. But when I do create a backstory, it's not super complex and complicated. It's like a couple paragraphs of information that I feel is necessary to help me roleplay my character. So I don't go too overboard. It's pretty simple stuff. But that said, I'm usually not a player in an ongoing campaign. I'm usually a player in one-shots. And for a one-shot, I care even less about what my backstory is because it's a one-shot game. You know, I'm not gonna put that much effort into my backstory and my character, you know, for one game, for one 4-hour game session. Now, if you're running an ongoing campaign and you're planning on keeping your character around for a while and you don't plan on dying a whole lot, I usually plan on dying a lot, then you probably want to put some effort in your backstory to help you roleplay. But it also serves a second purpose, your backstory does. And that is it gives your dungeon master opportunities to do stuff with your backstory. They can take little pieces out of your backstory and create things in the game world that happen as a result of things there. They can create entire adventures that revolve around something in your backstory. I would say that many DMs do this sort of thing. They'll peruse backstories to see. It's kind of like there's an article online called Knife Theory that talks about this, but it's basically, you know, going through backstories and finding things in there that you as a dungeon master can use to create drama, situations, and adventures in your D&D game. And then players can go on adventures and do things based upon stuff that happened in their backstory. So when you take the time to create a backstory with some of this information in it that a dungeon master can then come along and use, that you are helping the dungeon master to do that and put things from your backstory and things that might interest you personally as a player into the game. So you're doing yourself a favor by helping yourself roleplay your character better, and you're helping the dungeon master to incorporate those things into the game. Now, not all dungeon masters will incorporate things from your backstory into the game, and that's fine. They don't have to. Many do. I would argue that it's a good idea to do it. However, sometimes you're doing things like playing a module, and you're playing a module. So are you going to start creating homebrew adventures and different things that happen in the module because of people's backstories? Probably not a whole lot, because everybody pretty much committed to playing the module and not going on a million side quests that have to do with backstory stuff. So it depends on what type of game you're playing and what your dungeon master kind of has in mind, whether it's a module or whether it's homebrew. I tend, when I run my games, I don't run a whole lot of modules. Though I run more now than I used to. But many of my games tend to be homebrew games. And my homebrew games usually start out with there being adventures and a plot line and situations that I make up. And for the first several levels, at least, we'll purely be playing those things. And then we reach a point in the adventure, in the game, in the campaign, where I start pulling things from people's backstories. And entire adventures come about based on people's backstories. Now, if a player doesn't write very much in a backstory, That's okay. It doesn't bother me as a dungeon master. I'm not going to make you do it. You just won't get anything cool that happens in the campaign based around your character. And that's on you. It doesn't bother me one bit. But the players that do take the time to make a backstory, I'll take those pieces and I'll put it into the campaign, and there'll be little things that happen. Sometimes lots of things that happen. And sometimes the campaign can turn more into dealing with things from backstories than what was going to be the main plot line. So either way is fine from my point of view as a dungeon master. For your point of view as a player, you know, create the backstory to the extent that it helps you role play it and gives your dungeon master some things to do. I can go either way as a dungeon master. If you don't give me anything, I don't really care. If you give me stuff, okay, cool. And then you get cool stuff in the game. So did I answer your question? And I would caution you too. There are some dungeon masters that don't want to spend an hour reading a player's backstory. So writing a concise backstory, 1 page or less, is usually appreciated. At least it is for me. I am very, very happy when a player gives me 1 page backstory that has lots of really good information in it. You don't need to write the book. You don't need to write the short story. You don't need to you have dialogue in your backstory. It can literally just be a summary of some important questions that help you to role play your character and help the dungeon master do what he's got to do. I do have on my store, is it on my store? Where is it? I do have a backstory. I have a player backstory. I think it might be on, it's on DriveThruRPG for sure. But it's basically, I think it's 8 questions. It's like 8 or 10 questions that if you answer these questions, it helps create a good framework for your backstory. I can't remember if it's on my DM Layer store or if it's on Drive. I know it's on DriveThruRPG for sure. And I think it's free too. I think it's pay what you want. So you can get it for free. But it's basically, thank you, 𝐷𝐿 linked both of them just in case. But it basically has about 8 to 10 questions that if you answer them, it gives you a very good framework for your backstory. And it answers some of the questions and helps the dungeon master do what they need to do or what they might do in their campaign as well. So I would take a look at that. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, that's good. So we're gonna say, all right, thank you. Dialogue in your back. I've had players that put dialogue in their backstory because they're literally writing a short story. They literally turn into me like 10 to 15 pages, and there's dialogue where the characters are talking to each other. They include dialogue, and that's, from my point of view, that's overkill. For my purposes as a dungeon master, if they want to do it, that's fine. They're welcome to express themselves and use their creativity and write that stuff. I would be appreciative if they gave me a 1-page summary. So they can write all the backstory they want, but give me a 1-page summary that suits my needs. And I'm sorry if you wanted me to read your really long backstory, but I mean, not all dungeon masters are as pressed for time as I am. But I need the summary. I used to have a job interview format for backstory to help players who struggle with it. You know, that's interesting. My little thingy that I have is, there are questions to answer. So it's not, I wouldn't call it a job interview, but it's not probably too far away from that idea, I think. The Gorum, that's 100%. I agree with you. Dungeon masters have enough stuff to do already. Making a full-fledged essay for a backstory seems too much. And that's the thing, you know, in part, it's respecting the dungeon master's time. They're doing a lot of stuff, getting the game ready for you. Reading your backstory and then trying to parse out the bits and pieces of it that are useful to them, you know, so it's like, part of it's like respecting their time and giving them what they need, you know. If you want to write the whole essay for your purposes, for you personally, that's great. But I would give the summary to a dungeon master. Write it too long, didn't read the top. Yes. Yeah. Okay, okay, Luke, can you describe your sanity system, which you are using in your Curse of Strahd game? Especially, I am interested in what happens if PCs drop under 75% or 50%, etc. All right. Yeah, we can take a look at that. Let me grab that thing. Where is this? It's in OneNote. And all right, let's go over here. That's my lingering injuries, sanity points. Okay, these, I think 𝐑𝐂𝐊𝐄 was the one who basically made this system for me because I was struggling and I didn't have time to think about it. And so I asked him to help me, and he volunteered. I don't know how it happened, but I'm pretty sure he wrote this. Yeah, he wrote it. Okay, cool. I want to make sure I got the right person credit. Basically, whenever you, I mean, I'm not going to read everything, but you have to roll on a table. When horrible things happen, you roll on a table and you can lose sanity. You lose it, right? Or you gain things. Oh, your sanity score increases. So as it goes up, oh, it's insanity. It's called insanity. So as your insanity increases, things get worse. We don't use this a whole lot at our game table. By the way, Mr. Gorks, thank you for the $5 tip. I really appreciate that. And Joe Hadstall, thank you for the $5. Thanks for answering my question. I'm on the right track. Awesome. Yeah, you're very welcome, dude. Appreciate the tip. And those two tips are helping to kill 𝐑𝐄𝐒 too. 𝐑𝐂𝐄's hit point bar is still pretty high though. We have 30 minutes left. I don't know if we're gonna kill him. 𝐑𝐂𝐄, you might survive the live stream. When they have an insanity score of 40 or above, these are the effects. I'm not gonna read these all, but you can, you know, clip this or copy this from the stream. I don't mind if you use this. At some point, I'm probably gonna publish this for folks anyway. When you rest, you can get some back. There's a thing for divine intervention to get some back as well. And then when your insanity is low, you have different flaws that you take on. And then it can keep increasing too. And then as your insanity gets higher, you get insane faster too. And the flaws get worse. The flaws keep getting worse. And then at this, I mean, it just keeps getting higher. Every time something happens, you get insane faster and you get worse flaws. Some of these are beginning to become mechanical things, not just role-playing things. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So you can clip that, go back through and, you know, copy it down or whatever. I don't mind. You can feel free to use this. It's not currently published though. I'm not gonna really speak through this a whole lot. I'd have to read everything point for point, and that's probably not going to interest a whole lot of people. And honestly, we don't use this a whole lot. We probably should. I feel like what's happening with the insanity system is this happens with a lot of things. This happens with a lot of homebrew systems or ideas I come up with that I want to implement. Any sort of homebrew thing that you implement in your game has a cost. There's a cost in time. Every game mechanic that you introduce into the game costs time. It takes time to implement it. It takes time to do it. It's to roll on the table, to do the things. It takes time. And sometimes the cost of time to use the homebrew system doesn't always feel like it has a corresponding increase in fun. In other words, it doesn't seem like it's worth it, you know? Now, we haven't actually used this system a whole lot to even be able to fairly review it or, you know, even know how much we like it. I feel like to a certain point, I've tried to implement an insanity system in a few various iterations. I was never really satisfied with it. And I'm just kind of feeling fatigued with it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you know what? I kind of just want to just play the normal game and not worry about the insanity stuff anymore. I could give it another go and try to focus more on it, but I'm just kind of like mentally, I'm just kind of like, I don't feel like it. I don't really want to worry about it. It's another rule, another system. I already have the lingering injuries that I do, and I have spell dueling that I do now, thanks to Ed. He has a really cool rules on spell dueling that I adopted. So it's like, how many homebrew rules are you going to put in your game? And you have too many of them, things bog down too much, you become fatigued. You know what I mean? I like to not have a lot of homebrew stuff as far as rules and systems and mechanics and stuff. And I generally tend to play like more just raw, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at right now with my feelings on it, you know, if that makes sense. Seems like a really cool system. Just, you know, that's where I am. Penguin Butt says we gotta kill the second boss and get a second giveaway winner tonight. Oh, we might, but we're a long ways away, Penguin Butt. We're gonna need a concerted effort to kill 𝐑𝐄𝐄. I feel like he's probably gonna survive unless we get some going-ons here. 𝐷𝐄𝐿 says less is more, and honestly, I feel if your players want to get into that field, they'll probably just roleplay it anyway. Yeah, that's true. And you know what? They are too. They totally are. Especially Kevin's character, Stefan. Oh man, he totally role plays that stuff, like being afraid of different things, being horrified and running and all this stuff. He does an amazing job role playing that aspect of the horror of Curse of Strahd. So still salty for 𝐑𝐄𝐄 snipping my boss position. Oh, that's true, 𝐷𝐿. Yeah, because you did so many tips. You were probably gunning for having your name up there as the boss, weren't you? Thunderous Dragon, thank you for the 300 bits, man. I appreciate that. That's chipping away at it. Oh man, Oster as well. He did it for me too. My tip came just afterwards. Yeah, Oster, you were given a whole bunch too, man. I really appreciate that. That was your $25? Dude, Oster, you gave way more than that though. You gave a crap ton, dude. All right, let's go back to the questions. All right, I got that. As a player, I find combat kind of clunky. What I see is players and monsters taking turns in combat. You see that because that's exactly what happens. And that doesn't seem realistic. It's not realistic. It's 100% not realistic. You don't take turns in combat. But we had this discussion at the very beginning of the stream. Oh wow. We just started up another hype train. Nice. There needs to be a balance between realism and a game. How do you run the game? You need to have rules and mechanics for actually running the game. So combat takes place simultaneously. Everyone is attacking and defending and trying to murder each other at the same time. That's how it happens in real life. You don't take turns. But how do you gamify that? How do you take what is happening in real life and how do you turn it into a game? Well, you got to create rules around that. So in real life, everybody's doing everything at the same time. So imagine your game table. What would your game table be like if all of the players and all of the enemies were declaring their actions and resolving their actions at the same time? Everyone simultaneously. It would be absolute chaos. You couldn't run a game that way. So you need to have some order to how you run the game. And so the way to turn simultaneous combat into a game that can be run at the same time is to have people take turns. It's how that was translated. Now, are there systems where everything happens simultaneously somehow? I don't know, maybe. That's not how D&D works though. It's how the game designers decided to turn that thing of real life into a game. But I haven't finished reading your question yet. If 3 creatures have weapons drawn and fire arrows, they don't do it at one at a time. Is my perception incorrect in combat, or is there a more dynamic way to conduct combat? I mean, your observations are absolutely correct, but it just goes back to the balance between realism and having to have rules that satisfy that. If there is a game out there that can handle combat and resolve combat simultaneously, where everybody is doing everything at the same time as it would be in real life, be interested to see how. Now you might have a system. I used to do it this way. I literally, back when I was running D&D in college, my system was everyone, all of the players, when at the beginning of a turn, at the beginning of a round, I should say, all of the players would declare what they're going to do. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What do you? We would take, I don't know, 30 seconds or something to go around the table. Everyone would declare what they're doing on that turn, on that round. And I would decide what my monsters are doing. And then we would resolve it. We would go in order around the table and we would resolve everybody's action. And if it got to your turn and things had changed a lot and your action was no longer optimal, it's too bad. You already picked what you were doing. Because in real combat, you make up your mind immediately what you're going to do. And if the situation changes, it's too bad. You're already acting. And so when I was in college, we would declare our actions first, and then we would resolve them. So that helped simulate the idea that everybody's doing something at the same time, but it introduced order so that you would actually have rules that would help you resolve what was going to happen and not have it just be total chaos at the game table. So in college, I did it that way, and it helped a little bit simulate the idea that everything is happening at the same time. To some extent, that's kind of unsatisfying because you're gonna have a player who's like, well, I said I was gonna cast Fireball, but now people have moved and things have changed and it's no longer optimal. And it's like, yeah, you're gonna have that dude who complains about that, because he's just thinking about the game mechanics and he's thinking about casting his Fireball and winning, and he's less concerned with the realism of it. Because in the real world, if the wizard sees bad guys and he starts to cast Fireball, and the fighter and the ranger and the barbarian run ahead to fight the bad guys, what's the wizard gonna do with his Fireball? He's already casting it. He's like, oh, this is, you guys, what are you doing? So anyway, I don't know if that helps. But I gave you an idea. There we go. Okay. Ooh, we got some. Arutha, thank you for the tier 1. Building up a lot of resources. Thanks to you. Keep up the fantastic work. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much, dude. Yeah, you're one of my patrons. I'm pretty sure I recognize that name. So yes, you're getting Layer Magazine every month. So you are building up some resources. I read your name every stream, don't I? I should know. Let's see. Let's double check. Yes. I read your name every stream. 𝐑𝐄𝐒 cheered 100 bits trying to kill himself. Because we have the boss thing up top there. He's trying to get his hit points down. Arutha says lots and lots, LOL. Yes, I know. Thunderous Dragon, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. And then also Thunderous Dragon cheering 300 bits. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate that. We have 𝐑𝐄𝐒 down to about 2/3 of their hit points. But there's only like 20 minutes to go. And this is interesting. My internet is going in and out, and the stream is fluctuating. It's going red and green. So, yeah. There's a ton of. Is the layer DM focused? Oh yes, I am so DM focused, very very DM focused. And that's the way I see it. Goliath Cleric hit it on the head. The way I see it, there are so many content creators making stuff for players. here's the top 10 classes, subclasses for wizards. Here are the classes ranked in order. Here are the overpowered combos that will give your dungeon master a headache. There are like bajillion people making these videos that are focused on players, all focused on players, information for players, ranking things, giving you lists and all this kind of stuff, you know. There are some content creators that give players advice on how to be better players too. I think that How to Be a Great GM at one point had a channel that was How to Be a Great Player or something. I'm pretty sure he does some videos on how to be a good player too. Most of the content is probably less toward how to be a good player and just here's a bunch of different stuff that you can be used to min-max your character more or something. But anyway, it's mostly player content. And I really try to focus on dungeon master content, helping dungeon masters, because one, I'm not really a player that often, but I'm a dungeon master all the time. So my advice is from that lens. It's what I'm good at. It's what I do. Two, I want to help dungeon masters because dungeon mastering is not easy. It is simple, it is straightforward, but it's not easy. And I want to help dungeon masters learn how to do it, give them the information and resources from my experience and stuff like that so they can do it and then run awesome games for their players. It's intimidating, it's difficult to get into, you know, so I want to be able to give people information and resources to help do that. So I'm very, very much focused on dungeon masters. I almost never do videos with information for players. I've done a handful, like a couple of them. I don't do it very often, so. Oh, 𝐑𝐄𝐒 says, I feel kind of bad about stealing your kill. Oh no. Wait, where is this? Oh, it keeps scrolling. Quit scrolling. Although I'm thinking my tipping should increase my... What? I can't, it keeps scrolling. Chat keeps scrolling. Increase my health. Oh, you're thinking tipping should increase your health. Oh, and stop you from dying. I mean, I can literally do that. There's a button I can click that'll make it so that it does that. Joe, thank you for the 100 bits, dude. Appreciate that, man. Yes, I have been high since Dungeon Master School. That's not how that goes. That's not how that saying goes. Mr. Kringle, thanks for the 100 bits, dude. Joe says, I've learned a lot from you, and when I get done moving, I'll be starting my own campaign finally. I'm not sure I would have gotten here without your content. Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, dude. I'm happy to help, buddy. Joe's one of my players in my Ancient Dragon game. I try to kill Fizzletalk every other week. I've been close a couple times too. I've been very close. Oh, we got a level 1 train emote there. We had a Dungeon Master since January? Cool, dude. I succeeded once, I did? Yeah, but it's so easy to bring people back from the dead in 5th edition. So it doesn't, yeah, they just resurrected you. It's like, oh, okay. Death is meaningless in 5th edition. It's like, not only is it exceedingly hard to kill characters, but even when they do die, it just raises them from the dead. Not a big deal. Yeah, death is meaningless in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It's totally meaningless. Which is fine when you're trying to mainstream the game and get a wider variety of audience than was previously true about Dungeons and Dragons. All right. We don't got too much time left here. Let's see if we got any other good zingers here. Oh, you know what? I have redemptions I have to do. I have a few redemptions that we can do. Okay, we have a cheesy plug. Oh, we have a cheesy plug. All right, Dito Fox 2 hours ago redeemed a cheesy plug. Let's do a cheesy plug for, I don't know, Layer Magazine.
Hello, everybody. I publish Layer Magazine every single month. It's full of Dungeon Master resources that you should go check out.
Do you want to be a Dungeon Master But do you want to be a really awesome dungeon master? If so, go check out my Patreon page where you can get Lair Magazine every single month. Lair Magazine is 100% guaranteed to make you the dungeon master of your dreams. Your players will have so much fun in your games, they will be throwing themselves at you to play Dungeons and Dragons. You will have to hold them back with a 10-foot pole. They will be so much loving your game. And you know what? If today you struggle as a DM, if you find game prep to be challenging, if you find yourself you wake up in the morning and you just don't have that motivation to be the dungeon master that you really want to be, well, you know what? Lair Magazine is there for you. Lair Magazine will give you the zip that you need to get out of bed. It will give you the zip to prep your game, to get your butt to the game session, and your players will notice. Your players will look at you in a different way, and you will hold your head high and your chest out because your players will see that you are now a dungeon master since high school, the dungeon master that you always wanted to be, and your players will recognize that and see that, and they will hold you in reverence and awe as you strut your stuff with your issues of Lair Magazine backing you up and helping you to be all that you can be. Go buy Lair Magazine today! How was that? I feel that that was a pretty good plug. As cheesy plugs go, I was probably acceptable. Oh, that's got to go in the sheet. Okay, let's put that. That was really good. 2 hours, probably about 35 minutes. That's perfect. You need some chips? Hey, Quasms, what's up, dude? How you doing? Lair Magazine is usually about 50 pages. No, don't jump down from there. Get down, get down, butthead. Squirty Pie was like up on the bookcase. She was about to jump down on my monitors, my microphone, and my camera. Literally, she's like about ready to jump down. I had to run her back that way. She would have just crashed down right here. It would have been insane. I don't know what she was thinking of doing. And then she was complaining about it too. I'm like shooing her and she's like, meow, meow. Lair Magazine is usually about 50 pages, 50 to 60 pages or so. And then it comes with all the maps for the virtual tabletops as well. You get the image files for the maps. And if you're my patron, you also will get bonus content as well. I'm starting to give out additional adventures. I'm working on map packs, so additional maps for virtual tabletop use. So if you're a patron, you will, in addition to Lair Magazine, you're going to get other content as well. I'm working on that stuff right now, which is the advantage to being a patron. If you can buy back issues, but you don't get the bonus content if you buy the back issues. If you're a patron, then you're going to get bonus content each month too. So there's definitely advantages to being an ongoing patron as opposed to just waiting until a back issue comes out and getting the back issue. You get way more value for your dollar if you're just a patron. So that's that question. The giveaway is not open yet. I will open it right when we're about to do it. So Sculperto, thank you for the prime. Appreciate that. Lasagna, thanks for the 200 bits. Strahd did nothing wrong. Okay, thank you. I don't know what that means. There was another cheesy plug. Hey, what should I plug? I have one more cheesy plug to redeem. What should I do for the cheesy plug redemption? I have one more. I got to do. Into the Fae? Oh, Into the Fae? Oh, okay, cool. All right, Into the Fae. Oh, it's got to be a cheesy plug. Oh, a cheesy plug. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta do a cheesy plug. All right. Hello, everybody. Would you like to run Dungeons and Dragons for your friends? Are you pressed for time? Are you a new dungeon master? Do you perhaps not know where to begin? You want to run a great game, but creating adventures isn't really your thing. Either you don't have the time or you don't know how to do it. And you've looked at adventures that are out there. You've looked at adventure modules like Waterdeep Dragon Heist and Princes of the Apocalypse, but you know what? Those just aren't your thing. Those adventures, well, you know, they're not designed super great for you. They're not really a fit for you and your players. But maybe, just maybe, what you need is Into the Fae. You see, Into the Fae is not an adventure module like your typical adventure module, because Into the Fae was designed by me. And Into the Fae is a far superior adventure module than any other adventure module that you're going to find out there. Wizards of the Coast has nothing on Into the Fae. Into the Fae is expertly designed and written by me. It is a spectacular masterpiece of adventure moduling, I might add. It features lots of Fae creatures because it is named Into the Fae. In Into the Fae, you will be pitting your wits against many Fae creatures who will be trying to pull Fae tricks on you. I might add that Into the Fae is not your typical hack and slash adventure module. No, in Into the Fae, you will find yourself in a variety of situations against the Fae. Things like exploration and social interaction and possibly combat. I might add that all of the adventures in Into the Fae are exceptionally well designed and quite wonderful masterpieces of art because they were written by me. So, if you want yourself to have amazing adventure module for your players that will leave them stunned and startled and in awe of your awesomeness as a dungeon master, I suggest you check out Into the Fae, featuring lots of Fae creatures as you go into the Fae. Link below. Thank you. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Good grief. It's so bad. I pointed up, not down. Oh, sorry. It's link below. It's fantastic. All right, that was our last cheesy plug. All right, let's do our giveaway. Let me open this up and we're gonna do the giveaway. Anybody who is currently in stream is eligible for this. I just have to open it up for you. Let me find it. Where is this thing? There we go. We're going to copy that. And all right, there you go. There are the rules. Essentially, all you have to do to enter is type in !ticket space 1 and press enter. And that will enter you into the giveaway. So just type that in and Stream Elements is spamming chat with like successful entries. But it's very, very easy to enter and you don't have to have spent any money or anything. Everybody who is here is eligible for this. We're going to be giving away an issue of Layer magazine, and if you are already a patron, you're an existing patron already, then you will get a D&D book. And if you don't live in the US and you live somewhere where shipping is cost prohibitive, then we'll have to work out something else because I can't ship internationally. I just can't do it. So hopefully though, we won't have to deal with that. All right. I see the entries dying down. It's !ticket space 1. You got to do it right. !ticket space 1. Yeah, don't forget the space before the 1. I see lots of people not putting a space before the 1. It will not work if you don't put the space before the 1. Somebody's like, but my space bar is broken. I can't, if your space bar is broken, I can't help you. There we go. It's a space bar. You do it again. You can only enter once. It's impossible to enter twice. So if you think you screwed it up, just try it again. You can't enter twice. It's impossible. So just do it again if you think you messed it up. Yeah, you can't cheat. You can't scam the system. Or you just copy paste someone that successfully entered. Yeah, you could do that too. You see? So that dude tried to enter more than once and it gave him an error message. It's not possible to enter more than once. All right, here we go. Oh, you were just kidding with the 2 spaces question? Okay.
You've got a magic ticket.
All right, let's draw the winner. All right, here we go. We are closing the giveaway, and now we are drawing a winner. It's Beth the Bard won the giveaway. It's Beth the Bard. Hello, Beth. How you doing? I just saw you there. Congratulations, you just won. It's Beth the Bard. This is what I need you to do. It's Beth the Bard. I need you to send me an email. Actually, it's Beth the Bard. Can you get in contact with Danny? Is Danny still here? Danny, are you still here? Danny. I think she left. She's not? Okay. Dang. Penguin Butt can do it. Get in contact with Penguin Butt on my Discord, and she will give you an email address. Are you on my Discord, Beth? Are you on my Discord? Can you contact Penguin Butt? Do you know how to do that? Are you good to go? I just want to make sure you're good to go. I don't want to leave you hanging. I want confirmation from Beth if she's good to go or not. You're on it? Okay, cool. Penguin Butt. Message Penguin Butt, and Penguin Butt will get you my email, and then I'll need you to email me. All right? And then we will hook up. We'll hook you up. We'll figure it out. Okay? All right, cool. We're gonna raid somebody. We're gonna go raid somebody. And I need to go to browse. Stop talking. All right, let's go over to here and find somebody to raid. Woo! I've raided these guys before. Wow, there's a lot of people here. These guys raided me, I think, a little bit ago too. I might just raid those guys again. Yeah, let's do Careful Cantrip. That sounds good. We're gonna raid Careful Cantrip. I've raided those guys before, they're pretty cool. So we're going to raid them again. Raid channel. Careful Cantrip. They are live, confirmed they're live. All right, there you go, jump into the raid. Thank you everyone for hanging out tonight, really appreciate it. And congratulations, Beth, on the giveaway, and I will see you guys on Friday. We'll be streaming Friday. We're gonna create something together. All right, now go raid.
Raid. Bye.